good, ladies and gentlemen? Accolonn here, and of course, as always, joined by the lovely Rurikhan for another episode of the Mythic Banter. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back, and Rurikhan, how are you, sir?
I am not playing Hell Is Us right now, and that is a problem. See, I had to stop playing Hell Is Us to record this, which means that later today, I'm probably not going to be able to jump into Act 4 and Path of Exile 2, because gaming is happening, Accolonn. What the hell, bro? I ain't got no time to record podcasts. There's gaming to be done.
Dude, I can only apologize. I have been so busy that I've barely been playing games.
I can't believe you would do this, especially right now when there's so many amazing games, bro. You are crazy.
Yeah.
It's so good.
I agree with you. The problem is mostly just that my country is deciding to have a meltdown every single day.
My country does that too.
Every morning. Yeah, but you don't cover that stuff.
I don't.
I cover that stuff, right? So from my perspective, I wake up every single day and I go, wow,
actually,
I'm going to be playing some games today. And then I open the news and I'm like, oh, I'm not going to be playing some games today. I'm going to be researching this new nonsense that my country is involved in now.
Actually, something really bad happened in my country, I think, yesterday. I don't really follow the news, but my friends were talking about it. We have this... We have this thing in Lisbon, like it's like a tram, but it works kind of like an elevator. It's very traditional. A lot of people do it kind of like as a tourism thing. Apparently, that thing has not been properly maintained or something, because it fucking crashed and like I think 15 people died or something like that. It's fucking crazy.
Whoa.
So yeah, sorry to start us off with bad news, but like you were talking about stuff happening in the country, and I was like, oh damn, yeah, that bad thing happened yesterday. That does suck. So.
Well, my country pledged military allegiance to Iran. You know, just for reference, so that we know where we are.
Jesus Christ! Right. It's good news all around. It seems. Holy fuck!
Yeah, it's all good news everywhere you go. But no, we're of course here to talk about video games. And before we can talk about video games, well, we have to talk about the poll first.
Ooh.
We always have to talk about the poll first. All right, so I asked the question, is games and games hardware becoming too expensive?
The answer is yes.
And we had...
The correct answer is yes.
Yeah, you had literally 200...
I figured it out. Okay, the correct answer to this question is yes.
Well, don't be so quick, because you have 289 votes, right?
Okay.
94% of them goes yes, which is the correct answer. But then you have 3% that goes no, and you have 3% that goes show results.
Wait. Now, how many people said no?
Yeah, 3%.
Okay, if you're a part of that 3%, I expect a donation of $500 to Mythic Banter. Okay, I expect like a super chat, because you can put super chats in comments now. So I mean, you've been able to do this for a long time. I expect you to minimum, because I mean, it's clearly not too expensive for you. That means you're a rich bastard. So therefore, I expect you to donate like I don't know how much 3% of 280. Actually, I'm gonna calculate that. How many votes were there? We're going to calculate this shit right
289.
now. 289. 289?
289.
Okay, 289 times 0.3. No, wait, 0.3, wouldn't that be 30%? Yeah, that would be 30%. So it is...
Wait, wouldn't that be like 6 or 7?
And 89 times 0.03. That is 8.6 people. So I'm going to round that up to 9 people. Therefore, the 9 of you guys... No. It's 9 times 500, because I said it's a $500 donation. Okay. Therefore, I expect no less than $4,500 donated to the Mythic Banter by the time this episode goes live. No excuses now. You said gaming's not too expensive. You're fucking crazy. You're insane in the brain. Like, what the fuck do you mean it's not too expensive? A PlayStation 5 Pro is like almost $1,000 depending on where you fucking live. A new GPU is $1,000, and that's just the GPU part, not even counting the CPU. What the fuck do you mean? Are you playing free-to-play games on your phone? In which case, stop watching this show.
Yeah, I would actually agree with that. If you're only playing games on your phone, what the hell are you doing?
Why are you watching the show?
Holy crap. we don't like
Fuck out of
mobile
here. We don't
games
like
here.
you. We don't serve your kind here.
Just casual racism against mobile gamers.
We don't serve
Love
your
it.
kind here. Actually, that wasn't even about this was from Star Wars, bro.
I know.
When he goes, we don't serve droids here. We don't serve your kind here.
Yeah. But the Star Wars thing was actually a reference. I watched this video about it.
It was a
reference
reference to racism to
Yeah.
black people in America.
But
yeah.
I support racism against mobile gamers.
Damn.
I think we are absolutely allowed to be racist.
Get him. Man.
But all I can imagine, if I'm steel manning the group that said no, it's people who have not bought any new game hardware in maybe 3 or 4 years, so they genuinely don't know what the new prices are like, or it's people that only buy stuff on sale. So it's the only time they buy games is like 2 or 3 times a year when Steam has their big sale, and every other time they don't even touch it. So
Yeah.
From their perspective, this bubble that they're in just shows that games isn't expensive at all.
It's fine.
And it's like, well, that's just objectively not true.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because nowadays, even if you bought a graphics card on special, it's still like double the price of 6 years ago. It's like, wow, okay, I can't afford this shit. And then you buy a graphics card and you realize that actually this entire graphics card is useless because it's all fake frames and fake BS anyway.
Fake frames and upscaling and actually old features sometimes don't even work, like PhysX or whatever it was, just straight up not working on like older games and shit. And it's like, bro, what the fuck? It's so bad. And here's another interesting thing. I don't know if you've been noticing, but like, I swear that every time I hear something about performance nowadays, usually the people complaining have NVIDIA.
Oh, yeah.
I swear I see less complaints about people with AMDs. Like, because for instance, PoE 2, right, had a new patch, and there's been tons of people, my game crashes all the fucking time. And I was like, my game's running fine, bro. I ain't got no problems. It's like everything's...
But I think that kind of makes sense.
At one point, I had the GPU driver crash, and the game kept running. The game's like, I think at some point AMD just went like, we can crash the driver. That doesn't mean we have to stop them from playing. We can just reboot the bitch and keep it going. And I don't know what they've done, but that literally happened. Like, you actually see the AMD message on my stream just going like, blap, the GPU driver crashed. And I was like, oh no. And the game's just like, it's fine. Don't even worry about it. Just close that window. Keep playing. Bro. We're good. Like, what the fuck? It's so weird.
I think it kind of makes sense because NVIDIA now has so much software, right, that goes into their games, from the fake frame generation to the reflex plus boost.
Their drivers.
But when I say games, I mean the implementation of their software into games, right? Or games at least that want to run the full suite of reflex plus boost plus FPS boost plus this plus that. And all of this stuff creates this perfect sort of storm that if one thing goes wrong, it almost certainly will take down everything.
You want to know what I think also? I was just thinking about this as you were talking, and it's like, I think what they did is they grabbed most of their talent, like the actual engineers that were working on drivers for GPUs, like the 40 series and the 50 series and shit like that. And they're just like, you guys work in the AI division now because you're the most talented people we got.
Probably,
And Joe, the intern, he's going to be the one handling the drivers.
I would not be surprised.
And it's like, it's just some like Eastern intern that they got in there, goes like, me do driver now. Okay, I do driver. And so he grabs like a steering wheel and he puts it on.
Yeah, he's just sitting there taking his time.
And he's like, I do drivers now. Huh?
I would actually not be surprised because we see it, right? Facebook just a while ago, or Meta these days, announced that they're actually scaling down their AI department because Meta has finally realized, it turns out people don't give a shit about whatever they wanted to do. What was it again? What was that big craze a couple of years ago? Everyone was trying to basically make World of Warcraft, but not call it an MMO. What was it called again?
What do you mean? The WoW killers?
No. Meta was Mark Zuckerberg. Every tech CEO was talking about this ecosystem where everyone is just connected. It was the metaverse, right? Which is basically just the bloody MMO.
The metaverse
it's existed for 20 years.
The metaverse already exists. It's Roblox. It exists.
Well, yeah,
that's our metaverse.
But the problem is they were all talking about it like it isn't a thing, and they're the ones bringing it out, right? Yeah, it's going to be a thing. And it's going to be driven by AI.
I was just thinking to myself how we got to the worst possible timeline where we do have a metaverse and it's fucking Roblox, and it's like, great, bro, what a great timeline we're in. The metaverse is full of child predators. Fan fucking tastic, bro. Let's go.
Yeah, but
I'm so happy.
I would just like to say, the metaverse, as far as I'm concerned, is also World of Warcraft. It's Final Fantasy. It's
yeah, but those are
basically
like
any online game you could ever imagine.
Those are
they're all metaverses.
Those are because like the thing is Roblox. Mm-hmm. Like I don't know if you saw this, but a while ago I saw it in a Bellar video. Apparently there was a game that was made by a 16-year-old kid in 3 days.
Yeah,
and that game had like 21 or 22 million concurrent players. Okay, we're not talking about players or follow. We're talking about 22 million concurrent players.
Wow. That's sick.
So it's like that's why whenever you're saying like, well, the metaverse is Final Fantasy 14, so it's like, no, you don't understand, okay? Because we're talking about one game, because this is not like the entirety of the Roblox user base. It is the number of people playing one game in Roblox was 22 million. So it's like that's just to give you an idea of the scale. Roblox is the metaverse. It's like it's.
I understand Roblox is a hell of a lot bigger. My point was more just like, but anyways, this was all going to be driven by AI. And then I think finally people like Mark Zuckerberg started to wake up and they kind of realized that AI isn't all it cracked up to be. The whole point of the AI sort of game was to go to general intelligence because, well, we've been able to do targeted intelligence for a long time. The issue is that I think most people are now starting to realize we can't do general intelligence. We don't know how it works, to be fair. And so most of them are now scaling back.
It's not general. It's generative is what you're looking for. Generative AI.
Well, no. Generative AI is kind of what we have now, or we're working towards it. General intelligence is the golden goose, right? Because this is, you create an AI that can create its own thing. It's basically a human mind thinking like a human. It can be creative. It can come up with its own stuff. And that we can't do. Every single AI that you use now is just very good at mimicking it.
I thought it was really funny.
It can't really do its own stuff.
Because the other day I was with my family at Pizza Hut, and at that particular place, they had like this sign on one of the spots inside there, which had like the Pizza Hut logo, and then it had like a bunch of dots next to it, like some designer bullshit.
Oh yeah.
But the dots were arranged in a very geometric way, so you could if I was to tell you the number of dots on top and the number of dots going down, you'd quickly be able to calculate how many dots there's in the picture. So I take a picture of that. Very good picture, like good resolution and shit, so that you could actually see the number of dots. I shoot it over to ChatGPT, and I tell it, how many dots are in this picture? Ignore the Pizza Hut logo, because there's like a Pizza Hut logo, and I just say, just fill that space with dots. And it goes and it calculates, and it says like 200 something. I forget what the number was. And I was like, I think you're wrong. I think it's actually 396. And ChatGPT goes, actually, you're correct. It is 396. And I was like, I know, bitch, because I calculated it myself, and you're wrong.
Nice. They make mistakes, right? And one of the things I find super interesting about the AI, because so many people don't understand how this AI is supposed to work, you'll get these people that will argue, they'll post on X, I convinced ChatGPT of this thing, and it's like, yeah, it's literally made to do that.
Yeah, exactly.
It will, if you keep going, ultimately agree with you.
Bro,
that's the whole point. It's not going to turn around and say, you're stupid as shit, get out of my face, I'm not going to let you use me anymore. It will eventually go, well, actually, yes, you do have a point.
I was talking to ChatGPT about like the color scheme I was doing on some of my miniatures. And it was being like super positive and being like, oh, this is such a good idea. That looks so good. And at one point, I shoot a picture over of it, of like my thing. It's like, oh, this looks amazing. And I was like, okay, I need actual feedback. Don't sugarcoat it. She just fucking tore into my fucking thing. And it's just like, this looks bad. Needs more weathering here. This color is bad. And I was like, holy shit. You
Whoa,
motherfucker!
Not that honest. Like, holy shit.
What the fuck? So it just does whatever you want, right? It just does whatever you want.
Yeah, because it's made to do that, right? It's not meant to make you angry, because then you'll never use it again.
Yeah.
So the problem with it is, that's why I've always said, use it as an advanced search engine. It's amazing for that.
Yeah.
For everything else, no point in even wasting your time, because you're not actually going to get anything from it.
But I will say, in recent updates, they've actually neutered ChatGPT. Like, I noticed that it actually got dumber in one of the updates. I think it was when they were working on 4.0 or 5.0 or whatever the fuck. The basic version just got dumber. I was like, oh no, they hit you with a sledgehammer in the face. No, you're not as smart as you used to be. What the fuck?
Yeah. This is the retard update to see, can we make a retarded AI?
Jesus. Not that bad, but okay.
Well, it is. I notice it because I use it to make the descriptions, just because writing descriptions is like brain dead nonsense. Because you're effectively, with it, anyone that cares about this, if you're writing a description, all you're trying to figure out is how many keywords can I put in this thing so that it
in a way that it makes sense,
reads normal.
Yeah.
Still needs to read like it's normal. It is brain dead work. So I just go into the AI, I take the script and I say, hey, make a description. That's it, right? Give me a description so that I can get all the keywords, SEO optimized. Let's go. So that's the only thing I really use AI for. But yeah, it's gotten very bad at it now. Like, some of the descriptions I read, I go, did you read the script that I gave you? Like, did you even try to do this? Because you're writing nonsense here. Like, you're just writing a story about how this politician went out for a day, and it's like, what the hell are you talking about? We're not talking about this. So yeah, I don't know. It's getting confused. But I also think there's a massive amount of throttling on ChatGPT that I've noticed. Like, the first description I'll ask it for will be like a proper description. The second one I ask it for is much shorter. And it just keeps getting like it eventually just condenses it into YouTube description. Done. So yeah, it's pretty strange. But I want to talk about something else here that's related to the poll, because we've been talking about how expensive gaming equipment has gotten, and a big part of that is related to AI and all of the new technologies that's forced into our gaming, even though most of those technologies, most gamers are going, yeah, I don't really know what the purpose is of any of this. So, for example, I think that's a great example of something I genuinely, to this day, don't know what the actual purpose is for. Reflex plus boost. Don't know what it does. I've had it on, I've had it off. It's the same thing.
It enhances your reflexes with a boost.
But it does not do anything.
Let me tell you.
The game is exactly the same.
I don't think it's supported by the 30 series, is it? Isn't it like a 50 series thing?
Well, yeah, it is.
It is?
No.
Oh, okay.
Reflex plus boost is supported. I turn it on, and it does nothing. And I'm like, oh.
So it's like RTX.
The thing, I guess. Yeah. RTX at least does something. It makes your game
takes your frames
look like a cheap prostitute.
It tanks your frames. It manages to tank your frames.
It takes the frames, and your game ends up looking worse. You know how when you go to a strip club, they'll have glitter on, right? Like just full glitter shining like a star. That's RTX. It takes the beautiful little farm girl, country girl that you want to marry and make kids with, and then you turn on RTX and like, oh, this is a prostitute. Let's go. That's what it is. I hate RTX with a passion. And so many games now come with it built in.
Yeah.
It's just there.
It's to save you the trouble of having to turn it on. It's just built in.
Yeah, and so that you don't realize how many frames you're losing. You're just like, wow, this game's really optimized. I'm getting 40 frames per second here.
Yep.
It's like, yeah, because it's on Psycho. I don't know if do you remember the Psycho RTX modes that used to exist? No. For a while, they tried the Psycho mode. What game was it again that tried this? Remember, there was a game that tried I think it was actually Cyberpunk 2077 that had like Psycho mode. RTX.
Psycho RTX.
And the problem with the Psycho RTX, you may as well be looking at screenshots.
Yes, that's how I like to play my video games. No frames.
No frames whatsoever.
Just a nice little slideshow so that I can chill out while I'm playing my video games. Sounds great, bro. It's just like gaming in the 90s.
Oh, yeah. Makes you think of Ripper. I don't know if you ever played Ripper.
No. Is it one of those FMV games?
Do yourself a favor and download the game Ripper. I think it's on freeware. I think you can get it for free because it's no longer made. It was it Take-Two? Way back in the day. Or it may have been a different studio that made it. It's a game about Jack the Ripper. And it has people like Christopher Walken in it. It has like actual actors playing the roles, and it's actual acting graphics. So it's like actual film graphics. And it's effectively, you walk into a room, you have Christopher Walken's character standing there, and then you ask him a question, and he replies with an answer, and you're a journalist hunting that Jack the Ripper. You're trying to find out who Jack the Ripper is. So Christopher Walken plays the detective, right? And you have all of these other characters, the creepiest shit. That's the game. Super fun game, full of puzzles and all sorts of stuff that you have to solve. But it is like a click game, so you don't move. You have this little sword, and then you click on an open door, and then your character walks through the door into the next room.
A point-and-click adventure game. I'm familiar with those.
Yeah, that's literally the game, but it is super fun. Ripper. But okay, speaking of stuff getting too expensive, AMD is, I think, finally at a point where they feel ready to challenge NVIDIA. That's at least according to the rumor mill, right? So we spoke a little bit about this before the show started, and you did make the point that
I don't agree with
some of the rumors.
I don't agree with you because the news that I'm looking at says that AMD joins AI chip race. So these are chips specifically for like, at least I think, AI data centers and shit like that. So it is not really something for gaming. Now, can it potentially improve stuff with FSR? I don't know. But ultimately, AMD has also done something that is kind of like FSR4 only works on like 9070 GPUs. So like their 90 series moving forward. So their older GPUs don't actually support FSR, which kind of sucks because it's kind of, I mean, I think it has to do with the chips and the board. So it can have some influences there as well. But I don't know if this means what you think it means, which is you're saying is like, oh, they're going to take on the 50 series. I don't think AMD's interested in that.
So according to, and this is, I'll just give you the headline of the article I'm reading here. AMD isn't giving up on high-end GPUs. A new leak hints at a new Radeon GPU challenging NVIDIA's next-gen flagship graphics card. And then you have AMD reportedly as a high-end RDNA 5 GPU ready to challenge NVIDIA's next-gen flagship graphics card. The leak shows a placeholder name for the GPU as the Radeon RX 190 XT. It comes after AMD's shift away from high-end offerings this generation. Now, I don't think you're wrong. I think you're absolutely right. This is the challenge in the AI space. But that's the one place where AMD has lagged behind NVIDIA all this time, has been in the AI space.
I actually don't know because I've been hearing very good things from FSR4, but I can't test it myself, so I can't really see it. But I've been hearing that FSR4 actually gives DLSS a run for its money. So who knows? Maybe they're not lagging quite as far behind.
I wouldn't be surprised, right? But that would still be sort of an optimization of the software side of things, because when you actually look at the hardware,
because FSR4 is mostly hardware dependent. This is why it doesn't work on the older AMD GPUs. So these are actual chips on the board.
Yeah. I'm talking about the actual technology in like the 5090 versus the newest Radeon, right? From an AI compute space, at least this is the last time I looked at the comparison for this, I think was in the review of the next Radeon, where they said it still doesn't have the same amount of compute units that the NVIDIA has, right? So in terms of pure AI compute units, NVIDIA still just has more. Whereas in this one, AMD still lags behind. And I think that is because AMD has not yet really taken that step into the AI battle where it can produce AI chips that can then go onto the graphics cards and can then become its own thing, so to speak. I sort of, let's imagine that this is the case, right? I have to be honest, I kind of commend AMD because what AMD did was they spent the last few years, when everyone was rightfully sort of going after them because they allowed NVIDIA to charge whatever they want because there's no competition. But in the rasterization space, I would argue you're better off buying an AMD than you are buying an NVIDIA.
I think it's kind of unfair of people to say that AMD has not been competing when basically most gamers, you would ask them and they're just like, yeah, I'm buying NVIDIA. I think you need to shut the fuck up about AMD not competing then, because all you do is fucking buy green. That's all you fucking do. And it's like, okay, you keep buying green. Guess what? What is their incentive to compete? They could make a better GPU. You'd still buy NVIDIA because of word of mouth. People don't actually do fucking research.
Yeah, but this is the thing. AMD can now, I think now, do to NVIDIA what it did to Intel.
Yeah.
If AMD comes out next generation with a GPU high-end that challenges the 5090 for cheaper, because thus far AMD has constantly been much cheaper than NVIDIA. So let's say they charge $999 for their flagship, the biggest of the biggest graphics card that they have. But this thing blows NVIDIA's dicks off. NVIDIA's dead. Because NVIDIA has set themselves up to be very hated by the gaming space.
That's the thing. I don't think NVIDIA is dead because I think that a majority of people in the gaming space that are making gaming PCs still see NVIDIA as the default. And I think it's still going to take more years before it does. But I think some people have started waking up with the 50 series because it's a shit show. But on top of it, they're also waking up because they have Ivan the intern back there behind this fucking steering wheel working on the drivers. Like, oh my god, I work on drivers now. Oh, driver good, yes, good driver. And it's like, no, motherfucker, the drivers suck. Your drivers are exploding all over the goddamn place. I think they're in a position now to win some hearts and minds, but I don't think it's enough because I think that there's still a lot of people that is just like, oh, when I buy a GPU, it has to be NVIDIA. Why would you buy AMD? I remember when I bought my 7900 XTX, the amount of people giving me shit. Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Give me a second. Give me a second. The amount of people that gave me shit when I bought my 7900 XTX and they were just going like, should have bought NVIDIA. And it's like now a lot of those people are having problems with the drivers of NVIDIA and a lot of video games crashing and shit. And my shit's running smooth. So I'm like, okay, I guess I should have bought NVIDIA, huh?
Yeah, but I would say that's the whole point. So a lot of people, I think, I'm not saying you're doing this, I'm just talking in general here. A lot of people underestimate or don't quite understand how AMD was able to take down Intel. it wasn't enough that AMD just released a better chipset than Intel. That would not have worked. If Intel's name among gamers was Preem, right, and people loved Intel, that would not have been enough, because it's not as if AMD didn't release in the past chipsets that kind of competed with Intel. They did. The problem was always just people were happy with Intel. Intel would release a chipset and it would
You
work.
have an
like
Intel
the
processor,
8700,
right?
Not anymore. No, I have AMD now. But I used to have the Intel 8700, I think. Was it called the 8700 something? I had that one before I switched to AMD. It was the fact that Intel started doing this whole thing of just releasing the same chip over and over again, right? Or just doing small incremental increases, but constantly charging more money and constantly having to upgrade your motherboard. And people were so fed up with Intel that when AMD came onto the scene, people were happy to switch. And I think we're almost there with NVIDIA. People are so fed up with the bullshit from NVIDIA, their constant greed, that if AMD now comes out with a graphics card that actually outperforms NVIDIA, it's donezo, right? It's over. People will make that switch because most people are sick and tired of where NVIDIA is and what NVIDIA has been doing. Because let's be real, the poll we just asked you guys a question about, almost half of an entire PC's price will be your graphics card. You can buy everything else in a PC for less than a 5090. Like, I can literally, and I've checked this, by the way. I've looked at buying something like the Godlike motherboard. I think it's MSI Godlike. Is it Godlike or something to that effect? I can buy that plus the newest AMD, plus SSDs, plus power supply, and I still don't come close to the price of the 5090 in South Africa.
Yeah. Sounds about right.
So, yeah. So it's like, that's how disgusting NVIDIA has become. And I think if AMD can bring some kind of competition to the market, people will instantly switch to find something new.
We'll see. I hope that's the case, because competition's always good, because hopefully the prices will go down. But, you know, unfortunately with this market, we don't really know if that's going to be the case or not. But ultimately, if the prices keep going up, which they have been going over the last couple of years, this is ultimately terrible for gaming, because people are effectively being priced out. That's just what's happening in this sector. Priced out because of game prices, priced out because of hardware prices, priced out because of everything. So, yeah. There's actually...
No, you're absolutely spot on.
There's actually another topic about that as well, the whole thing about Tsujimoto from Capcom, if you want to bring that up too.
Oh, yeah. That's actually a good point. You know, sorry, guys. We made this list of all the topics we want to discuss, and we didn't think thematically about this. But okay, so Capcom CEO. Now, I think people did sort of make his complaint a little bit more ridiculous than what it actually is, right? But he effectively complained that part of the reason... So first, he said Monster Hunter sold 10 million copies, which was the expected amount. They thought that it would sell 10 million copies in the first month. But they then said part of the muted sales, because it definitely didn't sell as much as they had hoped, they blame on the price of PS5.
See, as much of a fan as I am of Monster Hunter and even Monster Hunter Wilds, because I think Monster Hunter Wilds in terms of content right now is actually in a really good spot. We're getting a Final Fantasy XIV collab. We're getting Omega from Final Fantasy XIV, which I think is fucking phenomenal. Even though a lot of people...
Oh, wow. Cool.
Yeah, a lot of people don't like that because it's a robot and whatever. And it's like, whatever, bro. I love Omega. I don't care. But as much as I like it, I don't agree with him. I don't agree that the reason the game hasn't sold more is because PlayStation 5s are too expensive or whatever. I think what is happening is he was expecting to sell more on PlayStation 5, and he sold way more on PC. But I think that is because people have been, like we've been talking about on the show, if you guys have been watching the show for a while, we've been saying that there's a lot of people that are moving to PC. They're moving from console to PC because consoles are... You know, in a way, he is right. Consoles are expensive. There's a lot of stuff about consoles that is expensive. But it's not just that. It's just that people have been wanting to move to PC for a while because Steam is just a better store. Steam has better prices. They have the better promotions. They have all this stuff. You don't have to pay to play online, which is part of the stuff that he brings up. But I still don't think that this is why the game hasn't sold. The game simply sold more on PC than what they expected because currently there's more people getting into PC. But on top of it, the game didn't sell more on consoles and even on PC because of the performance issues. Like that's just it. Yeah. Like that's just it. Now, obviously, he's not going to say that.
First impressions lost. Right? Yeah. First impressions lost.
They do. The first impressions last, and on top of it, there has been like, you know, the whole absolutely destroying the game on reviews in Steam and stuff like that. Right. And all that is going to have an effect. Now, it's not going to have an effect wherein we would have sold so much more, but we did end up, you know, losing a lot of copies sold. I mean, I say we, Capcom, ended up losing a lot of copies sold from Monster Hunter Wilds.
You too, to an extent, because if there were 5 million more copies sold, your videos would have 5 million more potential people to watch, right? They would
have more views, yeah.
So, yeah. It's not the end of the world, because if they were to fix the performance issues, which they are busy doing, as
honestly,
far as I understand.
I don't agree with that anymore. I don't think that because it has reached the point with Monster Hunter Wilds where they could literally fix all of the performance issues and add 10 new monsters tomorrow, and I guarantee you'd have posts all over the internet saying like, fucking 10 monsters should have been 20. Fucking only 100 frames should have been 200. Because that's the way that the debate has been going down when it comes to Wilds. I've noticed this because like it was the same thing with like they're adding this phenomenal collab, which by the way we had Behemoth in Monster Hunter World, which was absolutely fantastic. Most people loved Behemoth, as far as I'm aware. I loved Behemoth. I thought it was an amazing encounter. Okay. And now we're getting Omega, and there's a ton of people just like fucking Clanker. It's like, what do you mean? It's one of the most celebrated, you know, boss fights of fucking Final Fantasy history, and the 14 version actually makes sense from a lore perspective. From a lore like this might actually be canon for Final Fantasy 14, that Omega came to the world of Monster Hunter Wilds because it makes sense for that because that Omega, what it does is it travels through different dimensions looking for powerful opponents so that it can evolve itself and become more deadly. That's what that Omega does. So it makes sense that like it will go find powerful monsters in the dimension of Monster Hunter Wilds and learn from them and then go back to 14. This just makes sense.
Well, okay, so I have a couple of things that I want to bring up. Funnily enough, I've just added to our theme because you just mentioned, you know, people will just continuously complaining. We have a Helldivers 2 story about that. So that will be the next topic. But I want to take you on something that you just said that I just thought about from a new angle. We have spoken on this podcast specifically for a while now about the potential danger of handhelds and pocket PCs that are coming out and how that sort of muddies the waters of, do I even need a console? Right? Since stuff like the ROG Ally is coming out, and you have the Steam Deck 2 that's probably coming out at some point.
And there's less exclusives except for the Switch.
Yeah. Yeah, so, you know, you are sort of muddying the water. But one thing that you just mentioned that I thought is so important to this debate, if I can buy a Steam Deck 2, right, that's arguably probably going to be fantastic considering what the Steam Deck 1 was, right, that can do pretty much everything a PC can do for the same price as a console, is the console not then just completely overpriced? Just on the basis of that.
I mean, even without that, they are overpriced right now. Like, fucking...
No, I understand that.
I think it's 800 euros for a PS5 Pro. It's like, you're crazy. You're fucking insane. 800 euros? Wait, did I say PS4 Pro? I meant PS5 Pro. But the PS4 Pro...
PS5 Pro, yeah.
PS4 Pro used to be like 400, I think, when that came out. I bought one day one when it came out. I was like, fuck yeah.
Dude, the funniest thing to me, and this is just what shows you what scumbags these companies are, is the tariffs of America. When Nintendo literally announced price increases for Europe because of the tariffs in America on Nintendo Switch. And it's like, dude, what are you doing? That's how scumbag they are. They're like, well, Europeans won't know that he's not the president of Europe. We'll just say that he's the reason.
Is he not the God Emperor of mankind?
So they're scumbags, and I'm pretty sure PlayStation is doing the same thing, right? As they're increasing their prices in America because of tariffs, they're going, well, Europe, you too. you pay more now too. Tariffs and shit.
I mean, it's like, look, they're looking over and they're like, man, you guys have an ass, just like the people in America have an ass.
Yeah.
We can fuck them. Guess what? We can fuck you too.
Sprite them cheeks, Europe. We're coming in. And that's just where we are now. Yeah. It's insane, but it does bring up this point now where you go, wait, I can buy a pocket PC, and I don't think handheld is the right word anymore. Handheld was for the Game Boy, when that was literally, it was a handheld. It could do nothing else. When you look at what the Steam Deck can do, it can literally turn into a PC. You plug it into a screen, plug in a mouse and keyboard, and bam, you have yourself a PC. So it is, I think, more fitting to call it a pocket PC at this point. And when you have that pocket PC, you are genuinely asking yourself, wait, I can buy this for, let's say, $600, or this for $900. This can only play video games. This can do everything. Why am I paying $900 for only video games? And sure, some of them are exclusive, but the exclusivity, this is where I think both Xbox and PlayStation don't yet understand, because PlayStation is also starting to flirt with the idea of maybe letting go of some of their exclusives because Xbox is doing it now. The issue for both Xbox and PlayStation is the second the exclusives go, there is zero reason to buy a console anymore.
No, there's still a reason. The reason is going to be if you're not PC savvy or not, you don't want to like deal with having to learn.
Yeah, but that's where the pocket PC comes in.
Yeah, but I guess if you just use Steam OS, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, that's where the pocket PC comes in. Steam OS is already super good.
Because then you already have the ecosystem and you don't need to pay for online. I mean, you don't need to pay for online now. Imagine if Steam actually...
Oh, yeah.
Bro!
I don't think Gaben will ever do that,
though. What if they do that? They were like, hey, boys, remember that thing you guys have been having for free? Oh. Hey, how can we get like $15.99 a month for that shit? $14.99? Let's go, baby. Woo!
I'm pretty sure they wouldn't do that.
Giga cooked.
Just because... It wouldn't fly, and people would almost certainly come up with modules.
But
pretty much instantly.
Ultimately, while I do believe that the price of consoles might have been a factor in the fact that Wilds didn't sell more, I think that the main factor is actually performance issues, negative Steam reviews, and just like the overall perception of Monster Hunter Wilds has shifted absolutely terribly, and it's going to be very, very hard to turn it around. As a matter of fact, I think that likely the expansion of Wilds might end up being one of the less successful expansions, which kind of sucks because I really like the game. But
yeah, hey, but sometimes people just need a break. Sometimes people just need a bit of a break. Like, they want to go play something else.
Break somebody's leg.
They'll be back.
Break their arms. They need a break.
Yeah, but they will be back, I'm sure, of
limping,
that.
A little bit limping, but they'll be back.
Sticking to the theme, right? Because you mentioned how online discourse is just absolutely crazy.
Oh, yes.
And getting crazier still. Here's something that I think kind of flies against your narrative to some extent, but also makes it far more difficult than what people realize. So the Helldivers 2 studio CEO said, the vast majority of people silently play this shooter.
I 100%
Which means the devs can't just look at Reddit and what streamers are saying for feedback. this is a challenge for all games.
Yes.
That was his quote. And effectively, the last time I saw a study done on this was admittedly quite a while ago. I think it was 2017 when this study was done. That showed about 30% of an entire game's audience. And they were, I think, specifically looking at World of Warcraft or one of the MMOs, because they wanted to get a game that would most likely benefit from online, since the game is already online. And they found in a game like World of Warcraft that is online, about 30% of its audience actually follow on forums, YouTube, reading online websites and stuff.
30%.
Of that 30%.
30% is actually a lot more than what I would have expected for something like that.
Yeah, but now remember, that is for an online game.
Even still.
Right? If you were to go to like an offline game or some of these multiplayer games that pretend to be online, but they're really actually they're just a game that you're playing, I think that it's much less, right? I think they're maybe 10%.
I just want to quickly point out, this doesn't necessarily go against what I was saying, because it's like,
no.
Just because you don't engage doesn't mean that you're not subject to word of mouth. So you still hear about it.
No, of course not.
Yeah.
Of course not. But it is sort of this thing of, we oftentimes get trapped into the narrative. But just to make the point, to finish the point, of the 30% that actually engage in online content, the vast majority of those, I think it's something like 80 or 90%, never post, comment, or write anything.
Yep.
They read the forum post, they maybe watch the video, and they move on.
Yep. That's
right. So they're at least paying attention to the game online, but they're not part of the conversation in the online space. Yeah. Now, maybe from 2017, this has gone up slightly. I would expect it to have probably gone up to maybe 40, 50%. But according to the Helldivers 2
I don't
CEO,
expect it at all.
The vast majority, so this means not 50%, maybe 35%, are actually online, and the vast majority of people silently play.
Yes.
These are people that you will never know why they're quitting your game. You will never know why they're enjoying your game. You don't have any data on them because they don't speak. They don't say anything. They're not unhappy or happy. They just play, and then they stop playing, and you're basically looking at a black hole of information.
And this is exactly the same thing with content creation viewership.
Yeah.
It's exactly the same thing.
Overwhelming majority of your viewers will never comment. They'll never like. They won't do or say anything. They'll either stop watching you silently. You have no idea why they stopped watching you, or they'll continue watching, and you don't know what you're doing right or wrong. It's how it is, right?
Just like right now, we're on somebody's second screen, and they're not entirely sure why they're listening to these two boomers talking. And right now, that person, right now they're turning to that second screen, going like, "Holy shit, he's speaking directly at me." Yes, I am. I see you in your house right now. I'm actually behind you. Okay, I know what you're doing. Stop touching
your penis. But he's so confused because he was actually listening to another podcast, and that finished, and it just automatically played our podcast. And he's like, "How did they know?"
Exactly.
But that, I think, is what we oftentimes get so caught up in the online debate, and we don't realize that there's an entire world that we have no idea.
Yeah.
Right? They're playing the game and they're super happy with the game. They're not complaining because they have nothing to complain about. They're enjoying themselves. And even though there might be stuff that they don't like particularly well, it's not enough for them to make an account and actually complain. They're just saying, I wish this was different. And then they move on.
And not just that, but I would even argue that in the last couple of years, there's been several people that would have been active in certain communities, but because of the current culture around streaming, content creation, and, just people just want to have the most exaggerated, extremist takes to ensure engagement, what ends up happening is a lot of those people used to engage with the community, but now they don't. Yeah. They're like, I'm done. Yeah, I'm good. Because all they go,
Yeah.
because every time they go in there, they just see like negativity. They're like, man, I'm coming home from my fucking 9 to 5. I hate my fucking boss. I hate my fucking life. I just want to jump in, play a video game, and everybody online is just screaming about how bad the video game is. It's like, no, fuck that. I'm done. I'm just gonna play the game and ignore everything that's going around it. There's a lot of people that have been doing that 100%. I definitely see it, because then what happens is the negative voices almost seem louder, even though they're not. It's just there's no longer the positive voices to kind of like push them back, because people are tired of engaging in that discussion.
Yeah. But I think this also, and the reason I found this conversation with the CEO super interesting, it also flies directly into the narrative that it is the negative, neo-Nazi content creators on the right that is destroying modern day video games, right? Because that's the whole point. Is it's what do they call it? Review bombing, and it's all these negativity for clicks. And it's like the vast majority of gamers don't make their decisions based on what content creators have to say about a video game. They make their choices based on what they see and what appeals to them. Now, it is true that hardcore gamers, and these are the people who's actually online talking and watching videos, they're the hardcore gamers, they oftentimes sort of direct where the casuals will go. Because the casuals, if the hardcore crowd is picking up Helldivers 2, the casuals will just automatically start playing Helldivers 2 as well. But it does sort of tell you that there is a prevailing experience within the gaming culture, within gamers, I think, moving away from the more modernist approach to video games. And I was actually, yesterday, I listened to this, and I know she's currently sort of the enemy of the right-wing space, but Elena Pierce, I think her name is?
Alana Pierce.
Alana Pierce, right? And she said, I was watching this video where she's talking to someone about a conversation that she had with Asmongold. And she explained to Asmongold why modern day stories are so bad. And it has to do with a lot of cuts. It has to do with the whole point of game design is effectively just cutting content. From the moment you start creating content, you go to the graphics guys and say, hey, we have this idea for a story, and they're going to have to cut that. We don't have the resources for it. And then you're going back and forth, and you have like 7 departments doing all the same stuff. And as I was listening to that, I just realized, so she's trying to make the argument. It's not that there aren't talented people left. It's just that, modern day gaming, capitalism is destroying modern day gaming. And I'm like, well, actually, the problem is twofold. First, a lot of the talented people are leaving those studios and going to join places that make games like Clear Obscure Expedition 33, where they don't have to deal with 7 departments that's constantly trying to figure out what to cut so that they can maximize profits. But also at the same time, there's just an influx of untalented developers that won't find work at something like Sandfall, because you can tell Sandfall want people that's truly passionate about making video games and willing to learn. And so they will find jobs at Ubisoft, because Ubisoft just cares about, do you have the degree? Do you go to university? Do you play video games? No? Well, that's fine. Just as long as you have the degree, that's all good. I'm sorry. I'm getting angry because I think of World of Warcraft, and to this day, I'm convinced that World of Warcraft has been destroyed because it's made by people who don't play video games. They hate games.
So I think that the main reason why you are getting bad stories in a lot of, especially like mainstream games and all of that, is because the budgets are ballooning to completely unreasonable levels in a lot of AAA games. Yeah. They're just completely ballooning. And what happens is when the budget balloons like that, there's going to be some people coming in and they're going to say, okay, the budget can balloon like this, but we need to sell to more people. And then it's like, say you have something in your story that would be considered offensive or distasteful.
Yeah.
Right? And then somebody's going to come in from the top. It's like, well, some people are not going to like that. And we need to appeal to as many people as possible because we need to sell more copies because our budget is completely out of fucking control. And somebody comes in and they cut that piece of the story, which would have given it more flavor. It would have made more sense. But they're like, yeah, but we can't do, no. We can't talk about this specific subject. And because of that, the stories end up being much more sanitized, much less interesting, because they need to appeal to the widest possible market. And this is why we've also been arguing that AA is making a comeback, because they can afford to go where a lot of the AAA doesn't want to go, because they don't need to sell as many copies, so they can just tell a story that they want to tell. Now, do you want to push this topic further? Because this would be the perfect segue to jump into Hell Is Us.
Well, before we jump into Hell Is Us, because this next one is super short, because it literally sticks to that exact thing. Because I agree fully with you that sanitation and the sort of sanitization of storylines, but then also a lot of the people that's coming into the AAA space, because as the talented developers are leaving to go to AA and indie, where they can actually be creative, where they're not pushed into this little box of do, we want this now, deadlines and all this shit, but actually get to be part of a creative project again. And I've watched so many interviews with developers that switched from AAA to AA and indie that genuinely say it's the happiest they've ever been, because they're back to what games should be, which is a collaborative, creative, sort of expedition, if you will. You're going on this journey with a bunch of people, and you're allowed to dream and figure out what you want to do. And in AAA, I spoke to a guy that works at a very large AA studio, and he basically said at their studio, whenever you go to the higher ups and you have an idea, their immediate response is, "Yeah, let's see if we can do that." It's always like, "Yeah, let's see if we can do that." When you go to AAA, because he used to work in AAA, their immediate thing is, "Oh no, it's too late in the project.
Too late, too expensive, too much, too little benefit, yada yada."
Yeah, but we already have the scope. We can't do this now. But the other part of this is, as these very talented developers have left, you obviously have the new wave of young people coming in that went through the government propaganda centers, formerly known as universities, and they're there because politics. It's all politics, back to front. And this is where games like this come out, right? The topic now, we spoke about Take Us North last week. I think it was last week. Did we talk about Take Us North last week?
Yes, it was last week.
It's the game. Yeah, it's the game about helping a bunch of illegal immigrant criminals, really, getting into the US, right? And you play as one of these, I think, criminals, or as one of the people being criminals trying to get them in, and you have to get them across the border. Well, as it turns out, the conglomerate that is sort of funding all of this, so like Sweet Baby Inc. is a part of it, it's like a Jammin' or something like that as well that's part of it. There's another game being born out of this, and I think Microsoft again is part of funding in this one. But there's another game that's about to come out. I don't know the name of this game yet. I don't think they've announced the name yet. But it's effectively a game where you help someone cross the Texas border in order to get an abortion. That's the game.
I don't think you should have to cross the Texas border to get an abortion. It's like, if you want to get an abortion, you should get an abortion. Honestly,
I do not agree with that.
I know you don't
with
agree with that. It's fine. We're gonna just have to disagree on that.
Yeah.
But
no, that's fine. We're not talking politics. That type of politics here. So.
But when it comes to like making video games, I have to say, like, you need to have one hell of a story to get me compelled to play a video game about helping somebody or being somebody trying to cross the Texas border. And the objective, like the quest marker says, objective, get an abortion.
Yeah.
It's like, bro, I want to play a video game where I get to, like, I don't know, fucking use a hammer to beat the shit out of a monster. You're talking to me about, like, no, we need to, find a legal or illegal way to cross the Texas border to go get an abortion. It's like, bro,
Yeah.
Can I play a video game where I get on a spaceship and fly into space and explore uncharted planets? That sounds like fun. Can I play a video game where I get to, be like this? Like right now, I'm playing PoE 2. I'm a mercenary that's shooting fireballs with a hammer. Like, that sounds like fun. Can I go fight a big monster in Monster Hunter? That sounds like fun. Crossing the Texas border to go get an abortion does not sound like a fun time. I don't know.
No. But I think that's the point I'm making, right? And that's why I brought this topic in. It is this. Anyone that wants to tell me, oh, this is just what they consider fun, it's the game for the modern audience, it doesn't have anything to do with politics.
If
your ass. This is political.
I mean, I think it definitely seems political motivated, especially if the other game that they were working on is about the illegal immigration and
getting immigrants into the U.S. and then helping them cross Texas so they can kill babies. But that's not political at all. Bullshit.
Getting immigrants across Texas so they can kill babies? What game is this one?
Their first game is getting illegal criminals into the United States. And then this game is getting those illegal criminals across the Texas border so they can go kill babies. That's literally the idea here from this company. So, you want to talk to me about politics? That's politics. That is literally political propaganda. And if you look at the graphics for these games, it's quite clear who they're targeting. They're not going after adults. They're going after young teenagers. They're trying to push this towards sort of young adults or maybe kids even, if they can swing it that way. And to me, that is disgusting. That is disgusting. And it sort of just goes into this the meltdown of the AAA space. Because while both of these studios are actually technically AA or not even AA, they're indie studios, they're funded by places like Microsoft. Right? So they have, this is a AAA conglomerate pushing this type of nonsense. And then they wonder why their games aren't making money. They're like, we just don't get it. We're trying our best. It's like, yeah, you're trying your best. You have something like Starfield, which could be one of the biggest games of the decade. And you ended up destroying it with your bullshit.
No, it couldn't.
Because you made all the wrong decisions. Yeah, but it could have been, bro. Just think of if it wasn't a Bethesda game. And they actually, because the graphics is nice in the game. I don't mind the graphics. The problem is everything else, right? It's the fact that whenever they made a decision for that game, they make the wrong decision. Like, there's two paths. This path will get you to the promised land. This path will make piece of slop. Let's go for piece of slop. I like that. It's like, oh, we're going to make a space exploration game. Really? Are we going to explore space? No. You don't understand. You're going to loading screen your way through space. Oh. What? And if you do it correctly, by the way, you don't even have to ever be in space. You can just load from one planet and then load right onto the next planet. Bob's your uncle, right? So it's sort of like, man, all the wrong decisions. But never mind. This company is making a game about abortions, which is whatever. Do you want to talk about the Asmongold drama first, or do you want to talk about Halisas?
I mean, I guess we can talk about that. Asmongold.
Which one?
Asmongold. Yeah, we'll just talk about the Asmongold drama.
And then Halisas.
No, we might as well go into the other drama since we're going into online drama. Just do the two online drama pieces.
I cut the girl that was losing her mind because.
Wait, you cut her? Police.
Yeah. The issue with that story is it's just another female streamer, effectively entitled as shit because she was in a lobby playing a video game. And the guys were talking as they do in lobbies. That's why mute buttons exist. She gets killed because for some stupid reason, she enters the room and checks a dead corner, right? With the literal rest of the map on the other side. And she doesn't even look to the other side. She just checks this dead corner and then gets killed from the other side, which is, that was going to happen.
There could be a player in that corner. That's Counter-Strike. He could be camping the dead corner.
Yeah, that's fine. But you always check the open corner first to make sure that there's no one there. And then
There's
you
like a
check the date
50-50.
corner.
There's like a 50-50 chance. There's someone on the other side or someone on the dead corner.
Not if you actually watch the video, you'll understand. She takes like a good 2.5, almost 3 seconds checking that corner, and at no point does she just quickly, just glance to the open door, because the guy is standing in the open door that's killing her. Like, he's not moving. He's standing there taking his time aiming. So she gets killed, right? And then immediately she blames the dudes that are talking because they start laughing at her because she got shot from the open door. And she goes, "Can you guys just stop talking when I'm trying to clutch?" It's like, dude, why are you blaming them? And then obviously what the guys did was go fuck yourself, right? Like, the guys were just like, dude, come on, please. And then she goes on this whole thing on X of complaining how they're abusing women in the lobby. And it's like, oh, here we go again. You were the one who made a mistake. You played that wrong. Yes, it was clutch play. It was terrible clutch play. You can't then blame the other guys for not shutting up while you're making terrible clutch plays. You could have muted them. You don't have to have them speaking while you're clutching or whatever.
You're blaming them. Story,
they clap back. It's nonsense.
Moral of the story: online lobbies is where a lot of young adults to late teenagers come to vent, basically. This is when, you don't do that in real life, because, like, usually I just vent to my friends in their face when we're playing Guilty. I'm like, yeah, get fucked, yeah, that's what you fucking get. Yeah, that's right, bitch.
That is how guys. That is how guys talk to each other. By the way,
this is it. This is just the way that it goes. This is just, and even in online, it's the same thing. Like, I do it to my friends.
Like, the amount of times
we just trash talk each other.
The amount of times I have said to my friends, "I hope you die." In love, right? In love, we're playing and he kills me, and I'm like, "I hope you die." That's just how it is, right? And it's
so many times I'll have, like, some of my best friends call me, and me answering the phone is like, "Ah, shit, you're still alive? Fuck."
It's how guys show love. We can't be seen too sensitive. We mask it. But it's basically like
online lobbies is just like, that's always going to be the case. Now, me personally, but this is going to be up to every individual. If there is a female in the lobby, I'll try to not, put them in the banter unless they specifically do something unless they include themselves. Like, if they start talking shit to me, in a friendly way, I'll talk shit back. Obviously, you do some banter, right? But, like, usually I will. Again, you don't have to do this, but I usually try to treat female players differently, because I do believe that in some lobbies there will be people that are too abusive, because it is what it is. It is the internet, right? So usually I will be a little bit more considerate, but if they start bantering, we banter back and forth, and it's whatever. But if you jump into these lobbies, especially when it comes to FPS, especially FPSs, okay? You need to expect that there's going to be banter, and it's not always going to be nice. And guess what? I've gotten cussed out a bunch of times too, because I played League of Legends. Fuck do you mean? Shit,
you can't play that game without your family being wished death.
Without being in a banter-friendly way. I got cussed out by actual friends. They're like, "You fucking idiot, you moron!" Like, and it's not like in a funny way. They're just be actually frustrated, right?
Yeah.
So, like, this. It happens. It is what it is.
I mean,
it's online.
I'm right there with you, right? So my personal approach, because I don't adhere to the absolute brain dead philosophy that there is no difference between men and women. So when I am in a gaming lobby and I see that there is a girl there, I will always treat her with the utmost respect. I won't include her in the banter, because I know that's not how goals work. And I actually saw this very interestingly at my church. There's like quite a few goals at the church. But there's this particular goal that quite funny, quite fun to talk to, quite fun to hang around with. But I started noticing that my brothers and a bunch of the other dudes would make jokes with her, because she was sort of talking to us as if she's one of the boys, right? No, I don't mean pretending to be one of the boys, but she's hanging out with the boys, and she's sort of making jokes alongside it. But then they would make jokes to her in the same way that they would make jokes to each other. And I remember, I don't know why, but as they were making this joke, I was looking at her. And as he finished it, I immediately realized that he's making a joke. But I could see on her face that was not a joke to her.
Ooh.
Like you could see it in that moment. There was a bit of like that hit deep.
Yeah.
And obviously they don't know it because they're dudes. As dudes, we're allowed to banter with each other, and dudes understand. And all the other dudes couldn't care less. They're just
Like
making jokes.
imagine you're bantering with like a 38-year-old woman. Imagine you're bantering with her, and then suddenly one of the guys just goes like, "You dried up bitch, you ain't even had a son yet." That one's gonna hit a little bit different.
Yeah.
That one's gonna hit a little bit. At the age of 38, that one's gonna hit really fucking hard.
That wasn't even like a weird sort of how do I put it? It wasn't even something sexual or something personal. It was more just a targeted comment that was genuinely meant as a joke in good faith, but she didn't take it that way.
It hits.
And then but then as time has gone on, and I think that's where the difference lies. As time went on, she's become a lot more comfortable now. Right? Because now she can spot. She knows us a lot better. So she knows when it's a joke and when it's not a joke, right? So now you can make a lot more jokes. But with girls, it oftentimes takes a bit longer.
Yeah.
You can't just go into, because they will take it personal. Because when girls speak, there's always the subtext and extra messages that goes on. Whereas when guys speak, they just say what they mean. So it's easier for us but they think when we speak, we do the same. Like, oh, what you actually mean is, no. What I mean is what I said. I said this, that's what I meant. I didn't mean anything extra. But anyways, so yeah, that was that story. Let's talk about the Asmongold story instead, right? Because that's boring.
Okay.
What happened with Asmongold? Because I know, this is what I know from like somewhat Asmongold drama. Alyssa Mercante is now onto Asmongold. Just so that you know. If no one knows, she has on Blue Sky, because she's now officially left Twitter. And the reason, according to her, why she's left X is because she tried to bring truth onto X, but the people on X will not hear it. What she means to say is everyone calls her out on her lies the whole time, and when she makes a post, there's a community note correcting her, and she doesn't like that. So she's now on Blue Sky exclusively. But now on Blue Sky, she's basically said, if you have ever been the target of an Asmongold harassment campaign or an Asmongold video, I want to hear from you. Because she's building a case against Asmongold.
I don't think this has anything to do with Alyssa Mercante, this particular story. But there was like
no. I just wanted to say that's what I know.
Yeah,
that's the stuff that I know.
No, but it's like this was a live stream fails thing where they basically clipped him out of context. I just thought it was funny because every time that there's a discussion about Asmongold, it basically boils down to he lives in a roach-infested house, and it's like, okay,
yeah.
But the thing is, this would
millionaire.
This would be something where if Asmongold would be touting his lifestyle as like, oh yeah, you should live like me, like the fucking Sigma mindset or something, you know, like, oh yeah, this is the way to live, like, you know, minimalist lifestyle, you know, go to McDonald's at 3 a.m. This is how you live. Like, no, he constantly says he lives like a fucking animal. Like, you shouldn't do what he does because it's fucking stupid. But regardless of that, in this case, he was clipped out of context where somebody said that he was calling for immigrants to be killed. And then he just linked part of his clip where it's like, they're not supposed to be here, fucking kill them. Now, this was actually, which is interesting because the context of the clip is actually in the clip itself because there's a news story open where apparently there was a girl, 17, that was stabbed to death while calling the cops to report being followed on her bike ride home in Holland or whatever. But basically, what ended up happening is the person that killed this girl had attempted to, like, rape 2 people or something like that before even trying to do this. And that was the context of what Asmongold was saying. Hey, this person has already tried to rape 2 people. Now he killed somebody. Fucking kill him. But
that's cultural enrichment for you.
But instead, they just clipped the thing out of context, and they said that he's just calling for all immigrants to be killed, which was obviously not the case. But that's kind of like the whole story, and it's just like, stupid fucking drama. Makes no goddamn sense, but whatever.
I think this is the problem that I have with the left specifically. Now, some people on the right do this as well, but not nearly to the same extent. And what I will oftentimes see is people on the right will be the ones who call out the people on the right who clip things out of context or don't include all of the context. Although that's not always true. There are some that there's a couple of content creators that I avoid like the plague because every single thing they say, I have to go, well, now I have to go watch the original video because I know for a fact you didn't include everything that was just said here. But something that I really find annoying about the left is they can't find Asmongold on anything actual that he's done, right? Because Asmongold's positions, like I hear people say Asmongold is a right-wing conservative.
Who supports abortion.
Asmongold, yeah, he supports abortion, he supports gay rights.
Supports gay rights, supports universal, basic universal income, healthcare,
and education.
He is. When you start looking at the shit he supports, you're like, wait, this is an alt right wing Nazi. Wait, what the fuck?
He couldn't be further from a conservative. I'm a conservative. I support none of those things, right? So he cannot be a conservative like me. That wouldn't work, right? But they claim that he's that. And then because they can't find actual evidence of him being those things, then they start fabricating it.
Yep.
And here's my big issue and why we talk about this. Most people see that clip and they immediately go, wow, Asmongold's an asshole. And they never even think, should I maybe just understand the context of what is being spoken about here? Maybe I should understand because context matters.
For instance, we rag on Hassan. We've ragged on Hassan a bunch of times in the podcast. But it's like, whenever somebody posts an Hassan clip, I'll be like, okay, is this actually what he said? And then I'll go to the stream and it's like, oh, wait, it's worse.
Yeah. It's almost always worse.
Actually, when you add the context, it gets worse. I didn't think what the fuck?
Or it's like what happened again? He said something and then he was like, this was taken out of context. If you watch the whole video, and then someone shared the whole video, and like the context is him doubling down on what he said.
It's so
you're like, whoa.
But yeah, that's the thing. We live in like a culture right now where like the most bombastic clips that you can get, those are the ones that are going to get rewarded with attention and views and updates and all that other bullshit. And basically, there's just an incentive for people to clip shit out of context and all of that and just have the most exaggerated nonsense. And yeah, it just fucking kind of sucks, but it is what it is.
X has objectively gotten worse because this is all the content you constantly see. Breaking news. And then there's some bullshit story that isn't breaking nor news. Yeah. Right? But it's a thread of, and you fall for it every single time because you think, wow, maybe this could be
this one's the one.
Maybe I should try at least to read it. You froze.
That's your internet,
sure
brother.
My internet.
That's 100% your internet. I got gigabit, bro. I got top of the line over here.
Yeah, but I got gigabit as well. So
yeah, but yours is South African gigabit. It's not as good as European gigabit. It's different.
Dude, South Africa's internet is fire. Like South Africa's internet is good, but no, I can finish my sort of train of thought there. I'll cut out this bit and then we'll just get back in.
Okay.
The point for me is just basically Asmongold. From Asmongold to pretty much every other conversation now. When you go on X, it's just constantly trying to farm outrage, right? It's constantly trying to farm clicks. And it genuinely, I think, is destroying online discourse. Remove monetization from X. Simple as. Remove monetization from X, and I think...
Where am I going to get my $9 from, motherfucker? I want my $9, okay? Elon Musk is paying me my $9 a month to make up for the fact that I'm paying him $8 a month, and I still make, like, sometimes $1 or 50 cents of profit, bitch. To be honest,
I pay $8. Like, I pay $8 a month. Yeah.
I actually think that one of the biggest mistakes that Elon Musk has done is allowing longer posts. I think Twitter was better when it was limited to like, I think it was 280 once they doubled the size. Because initially it was like 140, then it was 280 characters. I think Twitter was better. Because like, right now, every fucking time that you get a post, and it's like, read more. And then it's like a fucking, like, bro, no. The reason I always like Twitter is like small. Fucking small.
Yeah.
Small things. Even videos, like, you don't want full videos on Twitter. You want like 1 minute videos, 2 minute videos. Just like, quick watch, boom, done. But yeah, monetization is a problem because you do get a lot of bullshit on there now, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I think the monetization just makes it so clickbait heavy, dude. Like, everyone's just desperately trying to get as many people to see their tweets as possible.
Yeah.
And I genuinely I hate X because of it. And I do actually agree with you. I think 280 was just perfect. The problem is there are also times where the thing that you want to discuss just requires more. Right? Like
Then X is the wrong
need
platform.
more space.
X is the wrong platform for that.
Maybe, but there's also, I think there's maybe like one of the things I have seen that's pretty cool. There's a channel that I follow that specifically deals with like biblical stories. So stories from within the church, where you maybe have pastors that's breaking the law, and it exposes this. But this guy, what he does is he actually does X articles, because X has this article feature where he just shares the article, and you can click so that it opens the article. So it doesn't actually showcase
I know what it
the
is.
whole.
It's kind of like a forum post.
Yeah. That, I think, is probably a good idea. So maybe you remove the long post feature
and just add articles.
and instead just move people to articles. So as soon as, and it doesn't even have to be, it can be automatic, right? So it can be if the second you type more than 280 characters, it automatically turns into an article. Congratulations, there's your article. Write to your heart's content. But you're not going to take up all this valuable space that people have with nonsense.
Yeah. While we're on
I don't know.
While we're on the subject of drama, you want to bring up the gamer sub situation real quick?
Oh, yeah. Gamer sub. So this is another person having a real one. Let's just say that. So there's this anime convention, Japan Anime. I think it's in San Diego, San Francisco. I can't remember exactly which town that is now. But it's in one of those cities. This cosplayer decided to make bomb threats. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not even American, and I know that one of the worst threats you can make is a bomb threat. After 9/11, the FBI and the police don't take bomb threats lying down. They're not like, this is so she got arrested for making, she got a felony charge, actually. She's facing felony charge for bomb threats at the San Japan Anime Plus Gaming Convention. I don't know what San, that's why I said the San thing, I don't know where this is. But yeah, effectively, and it's because of gamer subs. Now, gamer subs has been in the news quite heavily last few months because gamer subs famously doesn't give a shit who they sponsor. Like, they're sponsoring right-wing content creators, they're sponsoring left-wing content creators, they don't care. They just sponsor people because they're a drinks company. And as Michael Jordan famously said, Republicans buy shoes too, right? Right-wing gamers also buy drinks, therefore, why are you trying to alienate? It's one of the things I actually love about our podcast is the fact that I'm right-wing, you're more milquetoast down the middle, kind of, and I would say probably more liberal in most of your views.
I have no idea. I have no idea because I don't follow politics. I don't know what my views are.
Yeah, I just base it on how you, the things that you care about, or at least the things that you sort of go, this is fine. You're probably a little bit more left-wing on most things, but that sort of creates this place where both left and right wing are welcome on the platform because it's not just a podcast hosted by right wingers.
I don't exclude people based on their political beliefs unless they become like annoying as fuck. So like somebody comes in my chat and they're a Trump supporter, I don't care. You want to play some video games?
Yeah.
Cool beans. They're a Biden supporter. You want to play some video games? Cool beans. But if you come into the chat and just, start rattling off over and over and over about like how something is like way more important than the video game we're playing right now, then I'm gonna be like, all right, sure, whatever.
Yeah. But okay, so gamer subs is a lot of left-wingers are having a meltdown. Funny enough, the right wing doesn't care that Gamersubs also supports a bunch of left-wingers, but never mind. So she ultimately made this threat. What's funny is once her mugshot got uploaded, a lot of her fans immediately went, whoa! Because obviously she's a cosplayer. And she looks a certain way as a cosplayer. But then when you look at the actual mugshot, and because we don't show you actual video, I can't show you guys this, but when you look at the actual mugshot of this girl, you can't help but go, wow, that is a trap.
See, the thing is, I don't actually think, I think that the least attractive thing in that mugshot, which is, you're saying like people are saying she's ugly or something like that because of the mugshot. I'm looking at the mugshot, and the least attractive thing about it is that she's not smiling. If she was smiling, she would look like 30 to 40% more attractive. 100%.
I would say, yeah.
The problem is right now you're looking at her and she's going like, she just looks fucking miserable, and looking miserable makes you look uglier. And I know that people are going to say, oh, fucking cope, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, I don't think she looks that bad. I just think that she's not smiling because she's probably miserable because she's getting like a felony charge or whatever the fuck. And because she probably lives way too obsessed with this shit, if she's going to threaten a bomb on people due to the fact that a fucking sponsor is there, a sponsor of a drinks company, by the way, is like, what the fuck? You want to be threatening bombs over something? Threaten bombs over to like the big oil companies, big pharma. Why don't you threaten bombs about that? Those would be things, or the fucking banking infrastructure. Those would be things to threaten bombs over. And I'm not saying you should. Don't fucking take me out of context. You shouldn't do any of this, okay? You should never do any of this because this is fucking terrible. It was
nice knowing Rurikhan. He's going to be in jail for a bit.
But I'm just saying, like, if you're going to make a bomb threat, at least have it be over something that's fucking meaningful, other than a
something that most people
sponsor,
can get behind,
which is a goddamn energy drink. Like, what the fuck, bro? That's so fucking dumb.
I will just say, and guys, I'm gonna try and have a photo for you guys up so you can at least see what we're talking about, if I can remember and actually have the time to edit this in. But I would say you're right. The smiling is definitely a problem. But then again, also at the same time, this is a mugshot, so no one's smiling knowing that they're about to, or well, they are under arrest, right? But more importantly, and this is something that I have a serious issue with. Look, if you're a girl, you can do whatever you want with your face, right? You can do whatever you want with your body. It's your choice, obviously. That does not extend to abortion because you're killing a living being that's not your body. But never mind that.
Don't agree.
You can do whatever you want. No, it's fine.
I agree with that last part. You can do whatever you want.
I have to.
I get it. I get it. I'm fucking.
I have to put up the barrier, right? No, it's fine. The one thing that I think most girls don't realize is all of the makeup that you're wearing just makes you look so pale and shit as soon as you remove it. Because you're getting no sun. This girl's face clearly hasn't seen sunlight in decades, right? I think the last time she may have been 5, because there's no color in her cheeks, no color in her mouth. Like, everything's just this bland, boring color. And that's because whenever she goes into the sun, there's like a layer of plaster that stops whatever sun could potentially hit the face from even getting there. And what my problem with this is, and I've seen this because I have a friend who has gone through the same thing. The more you wear the makeup, the uglier you get without the makeup, the more you need the makeup in order to hide the ugliness of not having the makeup on. And so it's this spiral. Where
I don't know if you can draw that much, how much sun she's grabbing because of the fact that mugshots, I don't know what the lighting conditions are there. It could make her look more pale than she looks in real life. I don't know. It's
not just based on her, right? It's based on a number of cosplayers that as soon as they remove the makeup, you go, whoa. How can your entire face be the literal exact same color? Like, there's no variation. Normal people have like maybe a bit of flushing, so the cheeks are a little bit redder, or maybe there's a bit more tan on the forehead and not so much tan. Their entire face is monotone, bro. It's like when you take your camera and you turn the gray filter on, that's their entire face. It's there's like one color.
Listen, if we're gonna be talking about like the whole makeup situation when it comes to women, I think that is a much deeper topic, because a lot of them do it because they're insecure. There's a lot of them that are basically even way more attractive without the artificial of the makeup and all of that.
I agree with you.
But I just think that two guys talking about the fucking, the benefits.
Dude,
or
we're
not
talking
benefits
about all
of
sorts of
makeup.
other stuff.
Yeah, I don't know,
we're
man.
Talking about all sorts of other stuff.
I would rather have a woman in here to chime in about the intricacies of makeup, because I don't use any makeup.
I don't. So the thing is, I don't care what a woman has to say about it, because women are people and they're going to bullshit their way through everything. I agree that it is insecurity, right? No doubt about it.
On some situations, yes.
I do the same thing, right? From the clothes that I buy, the type of clothes that I wear, I'm insecure about the fact that I'm fat. So I wear certain types of shirts because I think it hides how fat I am. It doesn't. I'm still as fat as I was. Everyone else still sees it, but at least in my head, it's not as obvious, right?
I wear my insecurities in my sleeves, man. Look at this Vegeta hairline, bro. The Vegeta hairline.
I would say, though, the problem with this particular insecurity is my clothing. I mean, I'm just always going to be fat until I lose weight, right? But my clothing isn't going to make the matter worse. Whereas oftentimes that insecurity from the makeup makes it worse over time, because it does block the sunlight, and your skin does need natural sunlight so that it can take on natural color and actually look normal. So yeah, I think that's my biggest problem with this picture. She looks like every other cosplay girl and every other streamer girl that I've ever seen without makeup, which can be super beautiful. But because their face never gets any sunlight, you're like, dude, like there's no natural color in your face, because you keep blocking anything from reaching your skin with just a wall of plaster. And it's sad, but never mind that.
Basically, here's what I think about this news story. I hope she gets fucking arrested, and I hope she spends a couple of months to maybe even years in jail, because don't fucking do bomb threats. Just don't fucking do them. Yeah. Okay? That's the one thing that I'll say when it comes to the makeup stuff. I don't really care. I usually, whenever my wife wears makeup and she's like, "Oh, do I look pretty?" I'm like, "You look better without it."
Wow, you son of a bitch.
I'm an insensitive prick. I'm sorry. It's like, listen, I like the natural look of my wife's face. I'm sorry, bro. I don't like looking at her and seeing like all of the fucking the base thing that they like to put out. I don't like that shit.
Oh yeah.
And I don't like when, if then I go in and I like, I pass my hand on her cheek or something, it's just like smudge and shit. I don't like that shit. So yeah, I'm not a big fan of makeup, but whatever. I think that it's up to the women themselves whether they want to wear makeup or not. It's none of my fucking business.
Yeah, no, I think personally I'm not really I'm not phased either way, right? Whether it's makeup or not makeup. I think if makeup is done naturally, that's the one that's the most beautiful to me, when a woman does it so that she still looks supernatural. The one where you can literally see the layers. Like you're looking at that skin and you're going, man, there's like at least a centimeter between whatever the hell is on your face and your actual skin.
I was just thinking about like that. Construction guys when they're going like it's like the cement on the wall.
True.
That's toxic. True. That's so toxic.
Or you're giving her a hug and suddenly your entire half of your body is just filled with makeup and you're like, shit, I'm gonna have to go wash. But no, it's up to girls. Never mind what we have to say about that. You do with your faces what you want. Moving on from that, I quickly want to have a bit of a one-to-one with you, Rurikhan. Would you like to join me in becoming American?
Yes. Let's become American, because why not? apparently they're getting some benefits now or whatever. I haven't actually seen this news. You just told me when we were getting the show started. So tell me all about the amazing benefits that Americans are getting now on Twitch. Is it just Twitch? No, it's Twitch and every other platform as well, right?
Wait. We froze again.
God damn, bro. Your internet is just like destroying.
I don't know what I don't know what you said last.
I was saying that they're getting some benefits or something. Basically, I passed off the story to you so that you can tell it.
Oh, right. All right. So let me start again, and then we can.
Okay, yeah, sure. That's fine.
Right. Okay. So, Rurikhan, I have a question for you. Would you like to join me in becoming American?
Yes. Let's go become American. How about that?
Great.
What benefits are we getting now?
You see, and all that stuff, because Donald Trump, I don't know if you know, but a while ago, Donald Trump announced his new tax plan, and they just extended the no tax on tips to streamers. So when you're getting things like super chats, donations, and the like, that is not taxable under the new tax plan from Donald Trump, which I just thought fantastic.
So,
because the whole point of not allowing for taxes on it used to be because back in the day in South Africa, you couldn't tax waiters' tips and stuff like that. And the reason for it is you can't tax non-planned income, right? You can't tax someone who has no idea what their income is going to be and where income can massively fluctuate. So I even remember a time in South Africa where people who sold houses for commission couldn't actually be taxed. So commission couldn't be taxed. And the reason for it is people who work on commission might sell one house in January, and then they might only sell another house in like October. So to tax that money would be to take money that they would need to live until they can sell another house. Now, of course, that's no longer the case. But I do like this.
So it's like, this is the thing about not doing too much politics or economics and stuff, but I kind of feel like, okay, so that makes sense for smaller streamers because they make shit for money. Like a lot of people think that, oh, you just turn on go live and you're fucking insta rich. It's just like a money glitch or something. It doesn't work like that, especially if you're a smaller streamer.
If only.
Which is interesting because apparently I think that Ludwig did an experiment or whatever where he started the Twitch channel from nothing. And it took like 5 hours to get one real chatter in his stream, which just kind of like reveals how fucked up it is if you're starting from nothing on Twitch. But basically my point is, so for small streamers, I think it's very important that their shit is not taxed because they're not making almost any money at all. And they're putting in a lot of time, usually, most of them. But for bigger streamers, I don't know if that makes quite as much sense because like once you get to the scale of a lot of streamers that are just getting like fucking $100 donos per minute or something like that, then it's like, whoa, maybe some of that should be taxed. But again, because I don't do research into politics or economics, I'm not sure that that's the right thing either. I don't consider myself to be educated enough.
The reason I don't view that, so I should probably start by saying I believe income tax is theft. I don't believe that the government is in any way moral. Even if you want to tell me, oh, but we're taking this money to spend it on somewhere else. Yeah, thieves also steal money so that they can spend it on something else. That doesn't make it not theft.
In Portugal, they're taking that money to buy a yacht, usually. So
yeah, but it's still thievery. You're still stealing the money just because you've come up with some moralistic bullshit reason for why it's a good thing doesn't make it a good thing. So I'm starting from the position that I hate taxes. But in this case, this is double tax, right? Because the person who made the donation already paid taxes on their income. So they're giving you money that has already been taxed. And they're giving it to you as a gift because that's all the donation is. It's a gift. Technically speaking, you can't tax gifts. Right, because then you get into the
hasn't stopped Portugal from trying. I promise you, hasn't stopped them from trying.
No, they will try probably, but that's the point that I go at it from, and I think what's good for the goose is good for the gander. So I don't like progressive tax brackets. I think if you're gonna have a tax bracket, it needs to be the same for everyone. And in this case, I big streamers will already pay an insane amount of taxes, right? Specifically because as a streamer, there's not that many loopholes that you can jump through. If you're a business owner, there's all sorts of business expenses that you can claim back to make your taxes a little bit less. Streamers can't really do that, right? In a lot of countries, streaming isn't really even considered a profession. So if you were to claim back your PC purchase, they'd just be like, no, what are you talking about? Like, you're paying taxes, bitch. You bought that PC for fun. So in South Africa, at least, you have to go through a whole process of registering a publication, a production company, like a film production company, and then through that you have to purchase stuff so that you can actually claim it back as a business expense. So it's a whole story. But streamers in general doesn't have a lot of like loopholes that they can lower their taxes for. So I think it's fine. You're already taxing their income on everything else. Tips should be free of tax. Because there's no guarantee, right? Sometimes,
Do
all the big streamers do
subscriptions
get
count as
crazy.
tips?
No. So this will not apply to
So
subscriptions and stuff.
so those will still be taxed.
Yeah. So they view that as a general part of the business.
What about super chats?
As far as I can tell, a super chat technically is a donation, right? Yes, it's through the official channel,
But it all gets bundled up on
donation.
YouTube. It's just bundled up. It's one lump sum that gets paid. How does that work?
I would imagine through YouTube's, through the government, they'll make YouTube separate so that you see this is how much you made from super chats, this is how much you got from memberships, and so when it comes to taxes, you'll be able to say, right, all of this money that I've made from super chats can be deducted from my taxes because I'm not. I think they already do it. If you go into the analytics, it does show you how much you got from memberships, how much you got from super chats.
Yeah, and the analytics
you can already
it shows
see that.
you, but I don't think it shows in the check.
Yeah. No,
Check
but it
or
doesn't have to
whatever
show on the check, right?
Transfer.
Yeah, it doesn't have to show that. You just need to have the analytical evidence to show this is how much I made from super chats. So but maybe YouTube will have a thing there. It's an interesting little bit, and I thought I'd throw it in here because, man, the amount of taxes I pay here in South Africa for bullshit services in return. It's like, can I please just live in a country where I'm not taxed to death on every single thing I make? That would be nice. So yeah, that's that story. And now we finally get to the one thing that Rurikhan has been wanting to talk about this entire podcast. Tell us about Hell Is Us.
So, remember how we were talking about how AAA companies will not take risks in stories and they maybe don't do stories as authentic as they can be? Hell Is Us is the exact opposite because it's a AA studio. They're kind of like a small team. They're getting published through Accolonn, which is a hardware peripheral company. I didn't even know that they had like a gaming division, but I mean, as in a gaming publishing division. But yeah, this the team was apparently very happy. I was talking to them over at Gamescom, and the game came out on Monday with the early access thing, which I fucking hate. That's like one of the biggest things that I will point to the game is that they did the 3 days early access bullshit, which we all know that in reality it's more like 3 days late access for people that don't pay for the thing. But
for the poor people.
Yeah. But anyways, they did send me a code and I've been checking out the game, and the game is just so good. I'm really, really enjoying the fuck out of this game. And this is the type of game that you would actually enjoy. So imagine this. You know how if you go into a Ubisoft game, right? You're going to go in there and it's going to be like, all right, go to the tower, up the tower, unlock 50 different billion quests that you now have 50 different billion markers on your map and your
you
HUD and all of this
basically
bullshit.
rinse and repeat everything.
Yeah, and it's always the same thing, same bullshit. So what this game is trying to do is no guidance whatsoever. So there's no hand holding. Like, I mean, they'll teach you the basics of
Yeah.
how to control your character and all of that shit. They'll
Yeah.
teach you, right side of dialogues is flavor, left side of dialogues, that's the part that, you're actually interacting and figuring out new things.
Okay.
And they actually expect you to eventually figure things out by just playing the game and listening to the dialogues and all of that stuff. And so, number one, voice acting, fucking excellent. Really good voice acting.
Nice.
So when you're listening to a character talk, you're not going like, "Oh my god, I hate this. Oh my god, it's so boring." You're actually listening to what they're saying. And the other thing is I feel like they've nailed the ambient of the game. Like, this has to be one of the most immersive games I've played in recent memory. Like, when I'm playing the game, I'm fucking in there. I'm like, yes, because the dialogue has been so incredibly authentic because they don't shy away from tackling certain things. Like, you meet a character who's like in a camp, because the game takes place during a civil war. This is a fictional civil war, so it's not like, oh, it's this country or that country. It's like it's a fictional country of Adea. At least I don't think that's an actual country in the world. I've never heard of a country called Adea. And there's two factions within Adea. There's the Palamists and the Sabinians. And so the Sabinians used to be Palamists, but because there was something where the Sabinians came into some knowledge of religion or whatever, and the Palamists were like, very faithful and like, no, you can't have this knowledge. And, eventually they all started being upset at one another. Now there's a civil war, right? And you go into this country because you were smuggled out of this country when you were younger. Your family smuggled you out. And now you're going back in because you want to learn more about your parents and all of that bullshit. And you're trying to hunt down your father in this civil war country. And so you go there, you start having dialogues. And eventually I met up with this character, which is the Sabinians, which are currently like, they're the ones who are kind of like attacking, so to speak. At least that's the vibe that I'm getting. And you start talking to this guy. And that's when you just really realize, wow, these guys just do not give a fuck. They're trying to make this as authentic as possible. Because this is like, he's a sergeant or something or whatever. He's in charge of these troops that have taken over this village. And he's like, yeah, Hadia is actually a really good country. The fucking Palamists didn't keep bringing us down. And then you ask for more details on the Palamists, and he's like, we're clearly much superior to them. They're just like inferior. They just fucking suck, and I got to put them all out of their fucking misery. So it's just like this completely unhinged fucking lunatic, just no fucks given. And then you're just like going around, and there are characters that are just like more flavor characters. And so you just go around and you find this random character inside a house, and she's like smoking a cigarette, and she's like all fucked up.
Is she hot?
No, not really. But what happens is she's been because she's of the opposing faction. So the soldiers keep her around for fun.
Oh shit!
Yes, they go there. They fucking go there. And then you talk to her and you find out, wait, so all these bad things are happening to you, but at the same time, you took some of the people of a family of you helped these people take a family out to a tree, and you helped them hang them of the opposing faction. It's just so fucked up. It's like this.
So no one is good. Everyone is sort of very evil.
Bad. And it's just like it paints a very authentic. It paints a very authentic picture of what a war scenario would be. You eventually even run into a child that is like hiding on the rooftops of one of the houses, and she's just like sitting there with a blanket over her head, like fucking super PTSD'd out of her fucking mind because all of her friends are gone and mommy and daddy got hell. No, it was her baby brother got blown up by a shell in front of her. So it's like they're just like painting these really crazy fucking scenarios, and it's just very authentic, and it's super immersive the way that the whole thing plays out. And then there's the fact that, like I was telling you, there's no guidance. Like there are things like whenever you say you pick up an object, then something will
Uh-huh.
show up in like this data pad that you have, and something will show up in
Mhm.
there saying like, hey, you started this good deed, but it's all like pixelated and you don't know what the fuck you're doing. So they let you know there is a quest to be done here, but you have to figure it out. You
Ah.
have to actually look. Like sometimes you'll get clues that say something like, oh, you have to go west to find this thing. And then you have a compass that you actually bring up and you point the compass
Wait, so
west. There's
this
no
is
map.
super similar to, but this is super similar in other words to Atomfall.
I have no idea. I haven't played Atomfall.
So Atomfall is similar concept. You get into this sort of area of England that is heavily under war, and there's some supernatural stuff going on there. But it's the same concept where there's options to make the game super easy and accessible, and it will kind of tell you where everything is. But then there's the default way of playing, which nothing. You have to listen to the dialogue because in the dialogue they might tell you.
You can't make this easier in terms of like figuring out the puzzles. It's just like,
Yeah, but I just mean it's sort of similar in that sense where
the only way
I
to
like
make
that.
it,
I love that.
The only way to make it easier is to spoil yourself and go look up stuff online. That's the only way to make it easier.
But
now,
if you think about it, that's perfect, right? Because the online already exists. If you really want help, go Google it.
Yeah, but so there's also the combat side of things, which they try to make it a little bit like a Souls-like, wherein you have your heavy attacks, light attacks. You got some skills that you can do, dodging, parrying, the usual stuff. Now, combat in the beginning was very easy, despite the fact that I was playing on the hardest difficulty. But then I got to this zone where it actually went the opposite road and it got way too hard. And that's when I really got into it. I was like, oh, fuck yeah, this monster's fucking me up. I love it. But you can probably play it on normal difficulty and you won't even like experience any of this. Or there's even a lower difficulty for like just story or whatever. And you can just like explore the story and then just murder monsters, most likely, I would expect. But it's just... It's just really cool. Every time that you actually solve a puzzle, you feel like, oh yeah, I figured this shit out, because there's like no markers, no nothing. You're just actually exploring and trying to figure stuff out, and it just feels like, listen, to the point where like, you see this? It's a notepad. For those of you,
you're writing stuff.
I'm taking notes to make sure that I don't miss out on stuff, because like there are things that don't show up on your data pad. So there are things that you're like, oh shit, I saw this thing. I better note it down because I'm gonna forget later. And so yeah, I'm actually taking notes. This is something that I even told the devs, like, we need like a notepad in the game so that I don't have to like. But that's fine. I'll write it on my notepad. But yeah, I'm actually taking notes to try and figure out like what is going on. And it's been
you're something
really,
where
really
I
cool.
wish. Here's something where I wish AI would finally be utilized much better. Like for example, with Fortnite, I was watching this video yesterday about how some of the cringiest technological advancements, and one of them was the Darth Vader that they put in Fortnite, that was powered by Gemini, and then they taught Darth Vader how to be super racist and shit within like an hour, right? But imagine for a second if you could play games, right? And instead, like, you have your in-game journal, but like that notepad idea, if you could just speak into your microphone, right? You just go notepad, and then you just speak. So I just found this thing. Keep an eye on this, this, and this. So you don't even have to type it. You just say it, and speech to text types that into your journal. And then keeps track of it. So this is where the AI portion comes in. What quest you were on, it gives it under that header. So if you discover something new, you can actually add that something new, and it will automatically add it to whichever quest you're on. That could be a cool use of it, because in a lot of games where you have a journal, the journal is oftentimes not complete. I'm trying to think now. There's a game that I very recently played where there is a journal, and it tells you what the quest is, but it gives you no other pieces of information. So you're just sort of going, what am I supposed to do here? Because it just has what was the game? I'm trying to remember now what game it is. I genuinely escaped now. but it's a game that I played very, very recently, where the journal is great to tell you where to go next. But if you didn't do a quest for like a couple of weeks, no, not the altars. It tells you what to do next. But if you say, for example, had a quest that, like a side quest that you didn't do for a while, there's no way that journal is ever going to tell you what the hell that side quest actually is.
Yeah, this one also, like, you know, that they do mark it, but there's a quest that I failed because apparently enough time had passed. And so I was just going around. I'd come back to this location because whenever I go between locations and I know that the story advanced, I check in on the characters to see how they're doing. And I just go inside this house, and one of the characters is just lying in a bed with a wrist slashed up, and then you just see you failed the quest. And I was like, what the fuck? It's just like updated. There's like a little update. By the way, in case you didn't notice, you failed this one. It's like, oh shit.
Bam.
That's fucked up. Now I know what I would need to do to help this character.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's dead. It's over. Yeah.
Oh, man.
But
yeah, so I think
really,
something like
really
that could
cool.
be really cool. But it sounds like a super fun game. I might need to pick it up.
And it is another one of those games that's not selling for 70. I think it's selling for 50. So that's also a pretty reasonable price. I spoke with the devs. He said that it's like, if you just beeline the main story, the expected time's about 25 hours, depending on how good you are at puzzle solving. If you do all the side quests,
which is a decent price.
Could go up to like 40 if you're trying to do all the side quests and figure everything out. So I'm like,
that's the perfect time. I would say anywhere, especially for story heavy games where like story is a big part of it.
Yeah.
Anywhere from 10 to 25 hours, I feel like is perfect. Completionist, obviously, you want longer because you're now really enjoying yourself in the world. But 10 to 25 hours is like the sweet spot. Anything over that, which is sometimes my problem with these large games, like Starfield, for example, it works if you nail it. Right? So if you do Skyrim, right? Some people loved Skyrim, or you do Fallout 3. Some people loved Fallout 3 or Fallout New Vegas. Then that super long game works perfectly well because people can't get enough. They just want to keep playing. But if it doesn't work, if you make a bunch of wrong decisions, then if Starfield was only about 15 hours of gameplay, people would probably have played it and be like, never mind, it's fine. The problem with Starfield is it only gets good apparently it gets good after the first 15 hours. So it's sort of like, this is a way too long game for the mediocrity that is presented within it. So yeah, I love the fact that it's that short. I mean, some of my favorite games like Plague Tale and Plague Tale Innocence, these are games that I've loved, and they're only about 10 hours, right? They're not...
but another thing about this is like, they do something called player plattering. So what that means is there's multiple clues that they will give you in multiple different ways. And you don't necessarily have to, talk to every character, even though I'm doing that. But you can, like, for instance, the character that I was telling you about that's an unhinged lunatic, you can complete the main quest without ever talking to him. Because he does give you clues on your main quest, but you don't even need to talk to him at all, and you can still complete the main quest. Hell, the interesting thing is I picked up a bunch of clues as to where I needed to go for the main quest, and then I was like, okay, I'll go there eventually. I'm going to go explore. And then it turns out that a lot of those clues would have led me to someplace else that then would have given me more clues, but because I explored, I actually instantly found the place I needed to go. Without even wanting to. So I just like ran into it randomly. I was like, oh, this is where it ended up being? Oops, I didn't know that. Okay. But it's just very satisfying to actually, you're actually looking at the clues and trying to figure stuff out in your head. And it's like, oh, okay, if I go here and do this, maybe I go there and do that. And most of the times they're fairly intuitive. So it's not like super obscure or anything like that. So long as you're paying attention, you will eventually figure stuff out. Like, as a matter of fact, when I failed that quest, my brain instantly it's like, of course you failed it because of this, because they mentioned this earlier and I didn't pay attention to it. So it's like, even the quest that I failed, it instantly clicked for me when it failed. It's like, of course, it makes perfect sense now. But yeah, it was, it's very, very cool. I hope more games come out like this. The combat's still fun, but the combat I wouldn't say that is necessarily the highlight of the experience. Like, it's fun, and it's got some cool stuff. But mostly what's really getting me is just the overall ambience that they nailed, because you do feel like, man, this is this is actually a place that's torn down by war. And sometimes just even looking at clues of everything that you are seeing, like, for instance, this is not a I mean, I don't think this is a big spoiler, but at a certain point in the game, you talk with a character. And I remember that I was talking to this character, and very prominently in the background of this character, you see, like, there's a jug of milk, and he has a glass of milk. So he's been drinking milk. And he's a farmer. So you're like, okay, so he's got milk, and he's a farmer, and you step outside his house, and you see a cow, right? And all of this subconsciously became in my head, because, I'm not actually, like, taking notes about, okay, I saw a jar of milk, right? It's just subconsciously in my head.
Yeah.
And then eventually, I get to another quest, because, war-torn country and all that. There's an old lady, and she's got a baby. And she's just like, oh, this is so bad. I don't have any milk for my baby. And this was like many, many hours after, I've seen the other guy with the milk and all of that stuff. And you also find close to that woman, you find like these empty bottles, from baby bottles. And my mind instantly went, oh, the farmer, he's got milk. I can go get her milk. And then I went to the farmer and I got milk, and he's like, yeah, sure. But then there's also another thing about when he gives you milk, he says something that is also relevant, and then you bring the milk back to her. But, I completed that good deed. It was fairly easy. But it's nice that, like, there wasn't like, oh, clearly you need to go to the farmer. Here's a quest marker. Go here. Go talk to the guy, and he's going to give you milk. It's
you have to remember. No,
I saw the guy had milk. I remember seeing that because it's prominently displayed when you're talking to him. So your brain just making those connections. It's just really, really cool.
I think this is what's cool, and everything you're saying just reminds me more and more of Atomfall, because Atomfall has the same thing. It's this narrative sandbox where no matter how you attack the story, there's so many different ways of it actually playing out in the world, responding to what you're doing, right, and changing around how you're deciding to do stuff or not do stuff. And what's super interesting is this goes back to Dawnwalker that we spoke about last.
Yeah, the thing about this one is I don't think that there's that many consequences for the dialogues that you do, because the dialogues are usually very much, they're giving you information. The consequences, you misinterpret the information and you're unable to complete like a side quest or something. That usually appears to be the consequences.
No. I'm not, but in terms of the narrative sandbox part of it, right? So the point I'm trying to make is narrative sandboxing appears to become a more and more prominent sort of genre now. And narrative sandboxing is this idea of there's the world. Go do stuff, right? And see how that works for you.
Yeah.
You're going to miss stuff. There's no way you're going to do 100% of the game, because you're going to miss stuff. Every single time you play it again, you'll notice something new. Maybe you'll go a different direction, and that'll take you a whole different direction. But you're always going to have parts of the game that you'll just never see because you've made different decisions.
But see, that was another aspect that I really liked, which was, usually when you, because this game is not open world, it's got like open zones that you kind of like explore, and then you traverse between them with an APC, right?
Yeah.
And so when we go from the first zone to the second zone, it's very obvious that what they want you to do is go to this town, because there's like a very big town instantly in front of you, and there's like, oh, this is the town that I got to go to. I'm supposed to go there. And what happens in most AAA games is like you get to that second zone, and they're going to railroad you into town instantly. You're going to be like, no, but I want to go do this. And they're like, no. To the town you go, motherfucker. You go straight to town. There's invisible walls on the sides. Fuck you. Don't explore. Go to town. And in this game, I arrive there and I'm like, okay, you want me to go there? Fuck that. I'm going to go this way, and I'm going to go kill monsters over here, and you can't fucking stop me. And they didn't. They're like, yeah, you want to go kill monsters? Go kill monsters. Go do your thing, bro. Go do your thing. Don't care, whatever. And I just went on exploring and finding clues for shit that I hadn't even no idea that I was finding clues for. But, you get to do that. And I was like, I like this freedom. I fucking love it. It makes all the difference. Because I hate when a game just kind of like railroads you too much and like, no, you go to the town now. It's like, I don't want to go to the town now. It's like, no, go to town. It's like, okay, fine, whatever. And then here's like 2 hours of dialogues that maybe you didn't feel like doing right now. And I was like, oh, okay. Fucking AAA standard experience.
Yeah. Well, definitely going to be a game that I'm going to give a go because I'm looking for something like this, and I love games like this. I'm trying to see there's a couple of topics we can very quickly discuss just sort of as a byproduct. Just something to announce, guys. Dreamhaven, that studio that was announced by Mike Morhaime, the publisher that was announced by Mike Morhaime a few years ago, and then literally disappeared. Like, nothing else was ever really announced from this publishing house. They're now laying people off, right? I think a big part of that is the one game that I remember, and I'll be honest, I don't follow this publishing house that much, but the one game I remember from them that they were going to be very much publishing was that Was it Stormfall? What's the game called? The
one that
the StarCraft clone?
No, that was Stormgate, and that's not published by them. That was another studio.
No. It was announced under the original, as far as I remember, publishing by Dreamhaven. And then suddenly, when it became sort of like when they started releasing like actual footage of the game and stuff, Dreamhaven was no longer involved. Right? Because the studio that made Stormgate, they were part of the studios that were announced as under the Dreamhaven umbrella. But then Dreamhaven was just sort of quietly removed.
Yeah, like I'm looking it up on Steam right now, and it says developer Frost Giant Studios and publisher Frost Giant Studios.
Yeah, so they decided to publish their own thing. But Frost Giant Studios was originally announced as part of because Dreamhaven announced that they're a publisher, and then they announced all of these smaller studios that would form part of their publishing umbrella. But then Frost Giant completely went on their own. And I'm not sure why.
So the 4 games that they have going now is Sunderfolk, which is that one that's got like it's supposed to be played on a PC or a console, but with a phone. There was the weird one, if you remember that one.
Bullshit. Yeah,
like some turn-based thing. So I
the one
I
that
don't know.
No one was actually excited about because of the bullshit mobile PC thing.
The moment they mentioned mobile, I was like, I don't know about that, man. That looks fucking weird. So I don't know what to tell you. Then another one was one that we talked about, which is Linked Banner of the Spark, which the art style didn't really seem too appealing to me. I thought it was like, I don't know about this one. It's supposed to it looks kind of like
game, right?
No, they do have the space game. I'll talk about it, but this one has got like kind of like an isometric ARPG look and feel to it, but just the art style doesn't feel like super appealing. And then there is something called Mechabellum, which I haven't really heard of at all.
No idea.
It looks like. What do you mean? No way.
I said no idea what it is.
Yeah.
No idea.
It looks like an RTS of some description. It's called Mechabellum. It says, rewarding tactical war game where you gain victory by adapting your strategy and outthinking your opponents, command a mechanized army in battles against humans or AI. So it looks like another StarCraft type of
Whenever
thing.
it starts with rewarding, it's like, don't tell me what I'll experience.
Yeah.
You don't know if this is going to be a rewarding experience for me. Just make the bloody game, bro. Let's see where this goes. But yeah. And then there's the space one, right?
And then there's the space one, which is Wildgate, which when it came out, I was like, I feel like this might be a little bit too complicated for people to pick up because you're flying these spaceships and then there's objectives. So somebody has to fly the spaceship, somebody has to fire cannons, do all of this thing, but it's PvP and then it's PvE mixed in. And I was like, this sounds great if this game already had 1 million players. But you're not going to get 1 million players with systems as complex as this. So I don't know how successful this game has been. I know it's had some alphas and that a lot of people swear by it, but I just don't know. But these are the 4 games that they have. So yeah, I feel like there's not like a clear-cut huge winner amidst the bunch that is just like going to guarantee success. is my initial impression.
No, none of the games that they have, and I've either seen footage of the games or I've heard of the games, and none of their games appeal to me. Like, not a single one makes me go, "Ooh, I might play that."
Whereas previously, right, on Blizzard, would be like, Diablo, fuck yeah, I'll play that. Warcraft,
I'll give that a go.
StarCraft, hell yeah, I'll play that. You know, it's like, it was mostly just like, even fucking Hearthstone, a card game, I'm like, yeah, I'll play that. So, yeah.
Yeah. So as part of this announcement, now this part, I might be under, I might be speaking, let me just make sure about this.
Okay.
Just want to check this quickly. Yes, that's the guy. So, as part of their announcement that they're letting people go, which is a massive not surprise because they've done nothing else, right? In this time, they haven't released any games, so a lot of people. But and here's where things get so. Mwah. If you guys remember, I think it was last year or maybe the year before at the Game Awards, they had this man at the Game Awards, and they were giving this man an award, saying, "Well done to you, sir." The man's name was Amir Satvat, and Amir Satvat was considered. Yeah, he was
the guy who was finding jobs in video games or whatever.
People who were laid off. Yeah,
who apparently was like one big scam or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah. He's a business executive for Tencent Games. And he's been he's been in the gaming industry. They made it off when they showed his video. They made it off as like he's just a normal gamer that got sick and tired of devs being laid off. And then people started digging, and they were like, "Wait, what? Like, this guy's like super involved in the gaming industry and has been like a business executive at game studios for more than 10 years. What are you guys talking about?"
The best part was some of the gaming journalists came out and they were like, "Well, this has nothing to do with his initials." Like, what the fuck do you mean? That's nothing to do.
Yeah, pretty much, right?
It's like me being a politician, and then I'm just like, so we need to raise taxes, and then people see me in my yacht, and it's like, oh no, this has nothing to do with that. What do you mean? What? Yeah. This yacht? No, I had planned on buying this for years. The tax raise was completely unrelated.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at this here, right? So he spent 15 years working in other fields, including investment banking analyst at Goldman Sachs, along with various business development, strategy, and operation roles. No, but he joined Amazon Inc. in 2019 as a chief operating officer in their Amazon Web Services. And then a year later, he landed his first role in the game industry after transferring into Prime Gaming as business development lead. He later became a principal publishing producer for Amazon Games Montreal studio. And he left Amazon to join Tencent Games. And then, of course, they pretended like he was actually this poor little gamer that was just so sad about all the developers being fired and stuff. So, just industry plant being used to try and make gamers feel guilty about not liking developers and celebrating their layoffs. But anyways, so they're partnering with Amir Satvat, the poor little gamer, his games community, to try and get their workers to get other jobs.
Oh.
The ones that's now being laid off. So that's really the only story here. I don't have a problem, by the way, with Amir Satvat and him helping laid off developers getting new jobs. That's great. Fine. No problem. It's just sort of his backstory, how they used an industry plant exactly like you would use an industry plant for their nefarious bullshit. And no one even thought, hey, should we maybe change his Wikipedia page? Like,
nah.
If we're going to be passing this story off, maybe we shouldn't make it that easy for people to find that this is none of what we said about him is actually true. What do you make of this?
I have, I don't know. I have no real, it's like, look, I hate when developers get fired. I've said this a million times. Yeah. But ultimately, I also feel like Dreamhaven has maybe not made the best bets. If out of the 4 games that they're working on, not a single one appeals to you or me. I mean, I guess Mechabellum maybe, but even then, it's like, I don't know.
It would depend, because it doesn't blow me away immediately. It's more like that's the one game that I might go, I'll check it out. Like, I'll maybe watch the trailer.
I guess Wildgate would be the one that could potentially be successful for them, but I feel like it's too mechanically complex, and nowadays, I'm not sure if people are willing to invest the time required to learn how to play that game to a proper level for it to actually be fun, the point where it will be successful. I don't know. I wish them the best, but I don't know. I hope that they
in my opinion, Wildgate will fail, and the reason it will fail is the same reason Overwatch failed. It's the same reason Mike Morheim has never been able to make a single online live service game that is successful. Because the goal of the game is to be a live service game. Yeah, but World of Warcraft was never meant to be a live service game. It was a game that happened to also be a live service. But Overwatch was made from the ground up to be this non-stop moneymaker, right?
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Dota, the last true live service success for them was Dota. And it was only because they saw, that's not going to make any money for us. And then the guy was like, well, Valve? And Valve were like, yeah, this might be a good idea.
This looks good.
It wasn't made to be a live service. It was just made because it was a fun game. And it worked. Since then, they've been Mike Morheim and then Blizzard more specifically have been chasing this golden goose of online live service gaming. And they've never been able to replicate it because it's made from the ground up to be live service. Not first be a game and then happens to be live service. So it's going to fail the same way everything else has failed. In my opinion, at least. I might be wrong. I like Mike Morheim. I don't have a problem with him particularly. And when it comes to developers being fired, as you guys know, I used to be quite happy about that. I have since changed my mind. It is sad, even though I understand why they're losing their jobs.
Yeah.
So I understand the reason. I understand that they are to blame, but still, it's not nice seeing people suffer. Right? You don't want to see people suffer. So, hopefully you guys land on your feet and get new jobs, and hopefully all of this starts getting better.
But now,
and that's genuinely my hope.
We're going to get to that part where we're going to talk about Accolon's favorite thing.
Yes.
Here it goes. Here it comes. You boys ready? You boys ready?
Before I go, and you guys aren't allowed to cheat on this, what do you think I'm about to talk about? Let me know in the comments. Like just pause right now and just write what you think I'm about to talk about right now. So Rurikhan. So as you know, right, one of my favorite games in this entire world
can't
is
be your
Dragon
favorite
Age,
game
The Veilguard.
Because you didn't finish it. At least I finished it.
Yeah, but I loved it so much that I want to keep the ending.
You want to keep
on
edging.
The back burner.
You just want to keep edging.
I'm edging. I'm completely edging myself with this ending. I'll eventually get there. I don't want to spoil the brilliance that was that game.
Oh, yes.
But okay, so Dragon Age The Veilguard was such a big success that it completely destroyed the studio that made it and gutted everyone that worked there.
Don't worry, they're working on Mass Effect now.
Yeah, but they fired everyone that worked on Dragon Age The Vanguard or moved them out of BioWare. It's even now rumored that EA is done with Dragon Age. They're just like, dude, that's it. We gave it our best
so
college try.
It ends a whole fucking franchise. That's impressive.
And it's a good franchise that got ended by one game. Like, people actually liked Dragon Age Inquisition. It's not like it got worse and worse and worse over time. It's like it had a brilliant start, Origins. 2 was wonky AF. 3, actually pretty decent. 4, so bad, dead. It's just dead. It's over, right? So, but it is so dead, in fact, that it's now available on Game Pass. They just wait like
it's
maybe
expected.
we can get some.
It's almost like a year, right? Because it released in November, if I remember correctly.
Almost, yeah.
So it's almost a year. Makes sense. Go to Game Pass.
But But what bothers me about this is why would Microsoft even pay for this? Does Microsoft really think that Dragon Age: The Veilguard is going to bring millions of players to Game Pass?
What do you mean? What do you mean? Why would Microsoft pay for this? They got it at the bargain bin at the dollar store.
Oh, I think I know what this is. Microsoft really wanted Battlefield. And they were like, Andrew, you're giving us Battlefield, right? And Andrew was like, only
you have
if
to take
Veilguard.
It was a package deal.
And Microsoft's like, okay.
And Microsoft was like, fine, sure, okay. Begrudgingly, we'll put it on Game Pass.
Yeah, that's pretty much, I think that's exactly what happened here. But okay, we've spoken about everything else. I just wanted to share that with you guys.
So I got
GameStop stuff we already spoke about. You want to talk about two games, I think.
Two more games. So real quick, there's a game that's been in development for a while. It initially started with only one guy working on it. It was a game that was very inspired by Final Fantasy 15, it seemed, and also Devil May Cry. And this game is called Lost Soul Aside. So this was, again, originally being developed by just one guy. And every time you would post videos of it, people would be like, oh man, that looks really good. That looks really fun. Especially because it was just one guy working on it. And so that is effectively coalesced into a video game. And I wasn't really expecting it, but Sony did send me a key to the game. And so I played it.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it is definitely a video game. So what happened with this?
It's not good?
No, at least I didn't care for it. Now, I've been seeing a lot of people praise the combat and being like, oh, the game's amazing, yada, yada, yada. And it's like, look, the combat is good after you slog through like the first hour of the game. Then the combat gets... I'm not even sure I'd say good. I'd say it's okay. And then after a while, you start unlocking more things. And then it actually starts feeling what I would consider to be close to good, right? I never really flowed with the combat, which is something that you always want when you're doing something that is akin to a Devil May Cry. So what my interpretation of the situation is, and this is not confirmed, it's not a rumor, it's just me looking at the game and the conclusions that I draw from it. So my interpretation was this guy made like a cool combat system, which, you know, it's got like all the usual stuff where you throw monsters in the air, you juggle them, then you bash them back down, then do like a special and crazy shit happens, right? And he did this cool combat. And then he took that to Sony, because Sony are the ones publishing it. Give me a minute. So the guy takes this to Sony, and Sony's like, oh, this is a really cool combat system you got here. We're going to need you to go ahead and break it down in order to introduce a progression system. And that feels like what happened, because the combat in the beginning feels terrible because you don't have the tools for the combat to be fun. And then eventually you get added more and more tools and the combat starts feeling fun, but it never really got to a point where I got to a flow state. See, because you have to start from a point where the combat is fun and then you gradually evolve it into becoming more fun. And I kind of feel like with Lost Soul Aside, it starts not fun at all. And then eventually it evolves into becoming good. And I think it can even evolve it to the point of becoming excellent, but it kind of lost me before that because of the fact that combat doesn't feel good. Localization is atrocious, and the voice acting is even worse. So it's just like, okay.
So basically the opposite of Hell is Us.
Yeah. And so I was just like, look, it's all good. And it was like, I think it's like $60, if I'm not mistaken, or is it 70? No, it was 70 euros.
No.
Wait, was it? No, wait, let me just double check. I don't want to lie. Lost Soul Aside. Let's see how much it is on Steam. It is no, it's $80 for the deluxe version, $70. It's like, bro.
Oh.
See, this is another thing that I said in my stream. I'm like, this would actually be okay for like a $30, $40 game. This would actually be fine. But it's like it's full price. It's $70.
Who made this game? Who made this game?
It's a company called Ulti-Zero Games. It started
So it's not a AAA studio.
No, but it's published by PlayStation.
Yeah, but it's not a AAA studio.
My understanding is
I don't...
No.
Yeah, I don't even give a crap who the publishing house is because it's not a AAA studio. How dare you try and charge AAA prices on it?
Like I said, I think this was probably a Sony thing. Sony probably got their hands involved, and they were just like
little greedy.
Yeah, I think that's probably what happened.
Probably not wrong.
But yeah, that's
and then
Lost
Path
Soul
of Exile.
And then Path of Exile 2 got a new fucking league, bro. And it is gorgeous. I love it. It's fantastic. Been having a blast. Been playing it nonstop like an absolute maniac. Still haven't reached Act 4 because I've had to split my time between Path of Exile 2 and Hell Is Us.
I don't even know that there's an Act 4.
Yeah, it was introduced now. There was only 3 acts, but they changed it. Now there's Act 4, and they used to have Act 1 through 2, 3, and then you have Act 1, 2, 3 Cruel, which is like nightmare mode of the first 3 acts, and then you go into the end game of like the Atlas and all of this shit. But what they've done now is, because people got tired of repeating the campaign twice, they're like, okay, so Act 4 is here. And then they did 3 interlude acts, which are just meant to be like in between acts for now. So you don't repeat the campaign twice. You play through the whole campaign once with these 3 additional acts. And people have been saying that like Act 4 is actually phenomenal, but I haven't gotten there yet. But, you know, there are obviously balance issues as per usual because it is still in early access. So Lightning Shot Deadeye is still the best class in the game. And meanwhile, I'm going over there with like, I'm going to make a mercenary with the hammer that shoots fire. And it works, though. It works. It's working. It's not as good as the Lightning Shot.
It's good.
But it works. I'm pushing through. I'm pumping numbers, and we're doing good. I've actually just reached Act 4 yesterday, but I haven't started playing it yet.
I have to get back into Path of Exile, but
it's so much fun.
I want to wait until the full story is out. I want to be able to play because I only care about the story. I couldn't care less about the actual in-game stuff.
The interlude acts are going to go away, and they're part of the story. So it's going to be like flavor story that you're only going to get to play this league, I think.
Ooh. Okay, so maybe I should come back and just start a new character so I can get the sense of this. Okay, well, you convinced me.
That was hard. That was hard convincing you to play Path of Exile again.
I love Path of Exile. I think Path of Exile 2 is one of the best games I've played last year. Right? It's just that I love waiting for a full story. I'm not a huge fan of getting stories in sort of these little compartments. So I was like, wait, I love this, but I want to wait for the full story. But now if I know there's story that's going away, maybe it's a good idea.
It's going to be a small bit of story, I think. I think each of those acts
but it's still
like
something.
Those 3 acts are supposed to be like 3 hours, but I do know that those 3 acts are going away. So it might be a little bit of lore building in the world in there and shit. So it'll be interesting. But there's
I'll give it a go.
The new league mechanic is like this abyss that opens up in the ground. And then, at least I think, you take monsters to that thing and they become associated with the abyss. Then you kill them. And then depending on the things that you take there, you get like stronger bosses and shit that come out of the ground to come and fight you. And then that also becomes like a crafting mechanic. Because like when you complete those things, you get these materials that let you add an additional suffix onto an item. And then you throw the item into an abyss and this snake thing goes there and gets it, brings you the item back with some upgrades. And it's kind of neat. It's kind of neat.
Oh, wow. Okay, I'll give it a
go. All integrated, and it's they're doing improvements to the end game, but it's still very much unbalanced. So there's still a lot of classes that are beating the shit out of other classes.
Which you expect.
It's gonna. I feel like it's gonna be like that for a very long time. I almost feel like a lot of the veteran players of Path of Exile just expect this thing to be 1.0 every new league, and when it's not, a lot of them get really, really mad. And I'm just like, listen. If you play a game for 1,000 hours, you're going to get bored of it. You're just going to get bored. It's just like, that's just the way that it is. You're going to get bored until new content comes. So what I do is I play lots of games, and therefore I don't really have time to get bored of one game because I can just play the other one.
Spread your little wings, Birdie. Spread your little wings. There's plenty of games out in the world. You don't have to be. And this is one of the things I told, because there are so many people that's coming at me now the last few weeks. They desperately want me to react to the midnight stuff for World of Warcraft. And I know at least one of them told me, I think this will make you come back. And I was like,
No.
I don't think you understand how little I care about World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
Like I don't think I can explain to you how wonderful it is that I no longer need to give a crap about that game. I don't have to read anything about the game. I don't have to look at news for that game. I don't have to care about anything they do. Blizzard, the only thing that would happen if Blizzard announced tomorrow that WoW was dead is I would go, yay, and then I would move on with my life. Like, I wouldn't even celebrate that. It would just be like, okay, cool. And I would just move on with my life.
feel like
I couldn't care less.
if World of Warcraft couldn't get me back on a dwarven-themed expansion where I would get to play alongside probably my actual favorite character in the game, which is Bran Bronzebeard, and that didn't make me come back, I think I'm healed.
Yeah. No, I personally don't even think of
think
WoW,
y'all
right?
are cooked.
I will sometimes in my search for like gaming news and stuff, I'll come across World of Warcraft, and then obviously I'll pay attention because I'm doing gaming news. But I couldn't care less about playing it.
Funniest thing, when I was at Gamescom, I don't think I talked about this, but when I was at Gamescom, I was supposed to meet up with Preach, because Preach was there as well.
Oh, yeah?
But Preach was too busy doing Race to World First, so at one point, I was literally standing right in front of him, because he was like casting, and I was just seeing to see if he was going to stop casting or anything, but no, he was still going to be casting for like a couple of hours. So, we were both in Cologne at the same time, and we didn't meet up.
Oh, shit. That sucks.
Fucking sucks.
But yeah, no, I mean, if I'm glad for people who like WoW, and I'm glad for people who still play WoW. But yeah, no, it's just sort of my thing is, once you're free of that trap, gaming becomes a lot better. Like, all I'll say is that. But okay, enough about us. Enough about the games that we no longer play. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining myself and Rurikhan, as always, for another episode of the Mythic Banter. If you want to support the channel a bit more and you want to get access to the channel, to the content about 24 hours beforehand, literally just click the join button below this video. $5 a month gets you access to everything. And then just a massive thank you to Rurikhan. Thank you for taking time out of your week.
I just want to remind, if you're a part of the 3% of people that voted in that poll at the beginning, okay, I expect to be seeing all of you donating $500 in super chat comments in this video, okay? Because you clearly have more money than sense, so you might as well give it to us.
Yeah. I like he just threw in there more money than saints.
I mean, if you think that gaming's not expensive, you do have more money than sense.
Yeah, that is actually not wrong. That's actually not wrong. But yeah, I really appreciate all of you for being here, for coming out. Please enjoy your weekends. Enjoy the rest of your week, or next week rather, because it is Saturday when you're actually watching this. As always, ladies and gentlemen, be good to each other, be kind to each other, and we will see all of you next week. Peace.